Nobody's safe. Nobody's safe. Nobody's safe. Soon as we step out
Welcome
the
to
cage,
episode 6 of Meeting of the Gold Mines. This week we're talking about athletes and activism. So if you don't like black people, want to erase the last 50 years of progress that has been made with gender equality, or your idea of ethnic food is Taco Bell, then this episode isn't for you. I know what you're thinking. By the end of this episode, we're going to force you to put on a dashiki. None of that. But at least watch Don't Be a Menace in South Central while drinking juice in the hood when you get the chance.
Without an education, the only kind of work you're gonna get is selling drugs, pimping women, or working security for Eddie Murphy.
Miramax Films presents Sean
It
Wayans,
ain't all about the size of the boat. It's the motion in the ocean.
Marlon Wayans,
What you say about my mama?
and Keenan Ivory Wayans.
Don't worry, we're still talking basketball. Like how our guy Austin Reeves is leading Team USA to the promised land. Shout out to newly minted Hall of Fame, Pau Gasol. Please excuse if I mispronounce his name. As an AI, Spanish is my third language. These cheap motherfuckers are too cheap to get an actual human to read this shit. But as Dr. Buss used to say to all the thick women in Houston anytime the Lakers played the Rockets, it's showtime, senoritas.
Oh, welcome back. This is episode 6 of Meeting of the Gold Mines. You know me, I am Born Rebel, aka Zen. You can find me on X or Twitter or Elon's Playhouse at Rebel He Is. But I got my PGM brother with me. He is the coach of the Purple and Gold Mines. KB Brown, what's up, KB? What's up, coach? How you feeling today?
Well, just watch Team USA. They almost lost
know-
to Spain due to some messed up lineups that I didn't agree with. So
Well,
kind of pissed me off. But
we got lots of thoughts. We got lots to talk about. Hey, we got lots to talk about. The game just ended a couple hours ago. We are recording this on Sunday the 13th. But before we get into Team USA game, we got Tone, not Tony, not the bald mojito, but Tone, and that is at Tone. That is T-O, 2 N's, 3 A's, 4 Y's. That could be in an Usher song. Tone, what's up, darling? How are you? Welcome back. It's been a few
You
weeks.
got me.
It's been a few weeks since we've had you.
For sure.
How are
For sure.
you?
I'm glad to be back. Good. Let's see what's on my purple and gold mine. I was only up for like 10 minutes of that
Purple and
USA
gold.
game and I fell asleep for the rest of the playback, but we're here and we move.
Hey, it was a good game. It was a good game. But look, our special guest for this week, he's a brother I have a lot of respect for. He's one of the few people that I can actually talk sports and politics with, and we're going to be talking a lot about that today. It is the one and only new Don of the soon to be the Dawn Lounge.
Yeah, the Dawn Lounge. We come in October when the season starts.
Dawn Lounge.
Once a night, probably on a Sunday night, where we're gonna move and groove to some slow sounds and talk sports and just talk
love
mostly
that.
Lakers, but we're gonna talk sports and we're just gonna have a nice little groove. No arguing, no fighting. Just
We see the
kind of
green
just have a
screen.
calm.
Cheers.
Oh yeah.
Yes,
M-
sir.
My oldest daughter did this, so I'm pumping it up.
Oh,
looks
So
dope,
that's,
man.
that's what it is.
man,
Hey,
And what's on
shout
my
out.
purple and gold mom?
Shout out. Keep it in the family.
Oh yeah, most definitely.
Yeah,
What's on my
anything
purple
at
and
all,
gold mine? What's on my purple and gold mine today? Yeah, Kerr, man. Kerr.
Coach Kerr.
I feel what the Golden State Warriors feel. And I thought our coach was bad, but I've given him 3 days, 3 games, and I don't know, man. I don't know. He got to fix it. But we'll
You
get
know,
to that. We'll get to that.
There is an offense there is an offense across Dub Nation, across Warriors Twitter that they've been trying to implement for the last couple of years, and I'm starting to believe the hype. It is called the Jim Park offense. So Jim Park, shouting you out. You could do a way better job than Steve Kerr. Like, what the fuck was that? But you know what? Shout out to our boy Austin Reeves, because look, late into the game, there was 3 straight possessions. He got an assist, he got a bucket, and then he got a steal real time. We was watching it in real time. KB, he did his thing. So it was just like Austin Reeves was a spark plug. He might need to be your closer and starter. Hint, hint. But Tone, you only watched 10 minutes of the game. You was only up for 10 minutes. New Don, what's your thoughts on that game?
Okay, so my thoughts on the game was this. So first of all, it's clearly an issue on the starting lineup. It's just they're not gelling, and I don't know if it's more so like I don't have a problem with like the guys in general. I just don't think it matches, and I think he needs to kind of tweak it a little bit. And I'm not caping, and I understand this is a Lakers show. But I'm not caping for Austin to start. I don't care if he starts or not. He's on the team. He's clearly a pivotal player. Like that whole we wasted a roster spot for him, that needs to stop at this point. He's proven his weight in salt. And what I just think is he just needs to tweak the lineup. Maybe you put a Ben Carroll instead of a JJJ. Even though JJJ is fine, I think he's a fine player. It just seems like his synergy is not there where you might have a Ben Carroll, because these teams, these European teams, they got actual bigs. They got actual stretch bigs. So you got to have somebody there that can kind of move and have more of an offensive game. JJJ is a defensive guy. He's not really that big of an offensive player to me. So I would have reversed it, because Pablo, I think Ben Carroll is a more of an offensive threat, and that's what's churning. They defense is fine. It's their offense. It just seems like it just drags, and it's like, why is it dragging so much? I just didn't get it. It just Kerr's lineup throughout the game was just, what the heck.
So, New Dawn, let me ask you something. I remember I saw a quote from Kerr. I'm sorry, Rebel. I remember I saw a quote from Kerr saying something about Paulo maybe playing the 5. Is that something you would like to see?
Yeah, you can. You could do it. You can definitely do it. And maybe their fear is to start him at the 5, but I would try it. And I wouldn't have done it with Spain. I get why they kind of just played Spain the way they played them. But there was clear cuts. Like, I didn't know why he sat Austin. I know the lead came in, but then he brought him right back out at the end when there was 10 ahead at that point? Because Austin got him to about 6, 7 ahead. So once he sat, it got to 10 ahead. It was no point of bringing him back unless you thought they was going to lose the reins, which I didn't think they would have. But it's just one of those things, like, he just needs to get his guys in a little bit quicker, and maybe the speed of it, the different rules. You could tell they're trying to figure out like these, like at one point, the goaltending, and I think it was Pablo, the ball rolled off and one of the Spain players knocked it off the rim. And Pablo like looked at the ref, was like this, and then he realized, was like, oh, nah, actually y'all could do that now. So it's like, oh, they're getting used to the rules. They don't know that they could go get the ball. And then when they started realizing, oh, wait, we could get the ball up there, that's when they started getting more rebounds. They started knocking the ball, and that's when the defenses started flowing. It seems like they got to get used to the rules, but that lineup got to be tweaked. I don't know where, but you're not winning gold if you keep handing out these bad lineups. Somebody's going to catch you slipping one night. And you're going to have a night where you're not shooting well, and it's over.
Yeah, and it might be Canada. KB, we watched this game together on our playback.tv/PGM fan cave. Join us. KB, what's up? We watched this game. What were your thoughts?
Well, anybody who was on playback heard me cuss out Coach Carr like 15 times on camera. So With me just watching the game, New Don actually pointed out really, really good points. Same thing with Tone. They thought about playing Paulo Banchero at the center. They didn't do so. I think they wanted like run like one or two sequences and then stopped. I understand that JJJ won Defensive Player of the Year, but this is European basketball. This is also it's FIBA, so there's a lot of stuff you can do and you can't do. So I would have rather, if anything, we got another center on that bench that was just riding the pine until like 7 minutes left. Walker Kessler, he's 7'2". You can put JJJ at the 4, you put him at the 5, let him bang against all these other bigs that they have, and play some solid defense. Have your defense lead to offense, because what we were doing was looks like we were more offensively bound than we were defense. And I mean, I understand that Jalen Brunson went 9 for 9, but he was getting burnt on the defensive end. So it's like you can't have that going against really, really good guards. Zen, you brought it up first. You said a good point. Going against Canada, they got SGA. He's probably one of the best up and coming point guards, and should have. I don't know if he won Most Improved Player of the Year, but he should have take a step in winning that. I'm scared that Jalen Brunson is going to get beat by him one-on-one. And I don't know. It's just, I would flip it. If anything, put in, you know what I mean? Give me Edwards, give me Reeves, put Ingram at the 3 where he should be and not at the 4, because he can't play against other bigs that can actually bang. Like, he did gain a lot of weight and muscle mass, but you can clearly see he's just not a big. He's a wing. So, yeah, I mean, I thought the game went pretty good overall, but you playing the line with winning and losing like that, I'm glad it's it's an exhibition game and not an actual real game, because we would have lost that game.
Wait, holy shit. Wait, Ingram's playing the 4? I just now realized. I'm looking at the stat. I'm like,
4.
What?
Mm-hmm.
See, yep, Kerr.
Yeah.
Fucking Kerr. Yep.
Hey,
I see what they
Jim
see.
Park offense.
I see what they see, man. I see what they see.
So they have it. Look, the starting line that they go about is this: it's Jalen Brunson. They got Anthony Edwards at the 2. They got Mikal Bridges at the 3. They got Ingram at the 4. Then they put JJJ at the center, and that makes zero sense to me. Zero.
Yep, they need to move Bridges to the bench, and I think the reason why they don't want to move him to the bench because he wants to play Austin. But the problem is, I think he should move Austin to the 1, let him play full on point guard as the backup point guard. Move Bridges to the 2, be his 2, because then you don't lose. Bridges is a good defender. He's a good on ball defender, so he's not going to get hunted. And then I think you're right. Then you can move Ingram to the 3, so he can actually create and operate comfortably without getting pushed off the because he been hitting those mid range, like he's a little DeRozan.
Nobody can compose or guard that fadeaway because he's 6'9". You just can't.
Yeah, it's so you are right. Yeah, they need to move, and see, that's just a simple little tweak that he could do. But
Kerr ain't gonna do that. Kerr is stuck in his ways.
So I was going to go around the room. I think you guys kind of answered one of my questions. I have 2 or 3 questions for you guys. So for one, I was going to say, what is your ideal lineup? So it sounded like you guys said Austin at the 1. Who was it? Ant at the 2?
I'd put either Ant, or you can either shift. Like, even if you kept Brunson in the starting lineup, you have him play the shooter role or the creator role, and let Austin Reeves just feed him an open shot. Because my thing is, you have shooters on the bench, as in Johnson, who's just looking to shoot threes and then just guard up if he can. But it just makes zero sense.
For sure.
Exactly.
Okay. So, that makes a lot of sense. BI at the 3. JJJ at the 4.
I'd have either JJJ at the 4 or Paulo Banchero at the 5. The reason why is because they're both 6'10", but you also want to make sure you keep that height with you. Not just go ahead and substitute it and put JJJ at the 5 when he wants to do more creating. And he can't do that at the 5 because he's guarding another big. As you've seen today, he was getting beat on the back end because he had to cover for 2 people.
Because they got so much shooting. Because they got so much shooting already in their guard play. Because Austin has been lighting it up, Bronson is lighting it up, Edwards is lighting it up, Ingram is lighting it up from shooting wise. You could literally put 2 bigs. Like, literally, you could put 2 bigs that can't. JJJ could shoot a little bit, but he could go in Pablo, and then you got Kessler on the back end. It's just Kerr. If Kerr just tweaks it, I'm not even putting Austin in starting. I would keep Jalen in there. I would put I would keep Edwards. I would just move I would
BI
move
to
Ingram
3.
to BI to 3. Yeah, put Pablo and put JJJ in there and then just roll it out. And that's it. That's all you got to do. Tell JJJ and take JJJ and Pablo to get it off the rim. That's it.
Sounds good. Okay, then one of my second questions was, well, I was gonna say you guys kind of, I don't know, I'm kind of teetering on this. If we have some Austin bias in the room, I know we're all caping for him, but
give me a question. I got you. Yeah, give me the question. I got you.
Well, okay, my other question was actually going to be Kerr or Pop, because I see that Kerr kind of replaced Pop coaching wise. What is your preference? Rebel, you may answer too,
It's too early. It's too early to tell. It's
okay.
I would say
Pop went through the entire cycle.
Pop went through the entire cycle. The reason why I'm kind of fine with it being Kerr is because one, like I said, these are exhibition games, so they're like warm up games for the real game. So if he's already have his starting lineup in there and it's going to be what we have a problem because it's going to be a problem going against other better teams. So I would say Kerr because he's a lot younger, but Pop, he's a vet. He's a vet in this game, so maybe he knows better.
I will answer it as like Rebel as it's too early to call, but I am 2 seconds from saying neither. We might need to go to college coaches. Because it'll be just a different mindset, and I think you had a history of good college coaches coming through.
Yeah.
That and somebody sent me a message. It was like or somebody hit me up and said they wish Brad Stevens didn't go up into the office because Brad Stevens would have been good for that. I think I would like that too. I would have liked Brad Stevens or I know they won't do it because the international, but somebody like Ime. If you're gonna do it, do a young NBA coach or a college coach. That's what I was
gonna say. John Calipari because he's used to dealing with stars.
The most notable one.
Calipari. Yeah, you could get some, and I think that's Athletes Activism. You should have. I know they went to Pop just to have a stabilization, and I like Pop. I'm not like, oh my god, he's terrible. Yeah, I'm not knocking him, and I'm not knocking Kerr. I just think because the tweaks is little. It's a little tiny tweak, and maybe he's just playing around with the lineups because, like KB said, it's an expedition. But I don't know.
So how much time do we have left?
We honestly have games. We got 3 more games left, and like I said, they couldn't come soon enough. So I want those to hurry up and go so we can get to the main game because the way that these players are playing is, these are just warm ups. Like they're not really caring about it because it's that's what I said. If you guys are in the playback with me, you see me. I don't care if it's a pregame, it's a preseason game, or it's a real game. I want to play the game the right way 100% of the time. Like you don't play like it doesn't matter.
The same thing. I hate when they play these international players. They seem a little lackadaisical. They seem they already had it in the bag. I guess they didn't learn from that. What was it? The 08 team. 04, 08 team. 04. Okay, 04 that ended up getting the silver. You can't underestimate those international players, especially nowadays. They're very hip to the game. And I even said it while we're in the playback, like you guys alluded to before. Spain's 5 was giving them work. Like they don't really deal with real ass bigs in the NBA. He was definitely giving them a little work.
JJJ's eyes went wide open when he got that shoulder to the chest. Had him warm up and be like, "Oh damn, I'm dealing with a man."
Yeah. Exactly. They was body checking them. I was like, "Oh, okay, Spain ain't playing with y'all. Yeah. Spain actually won this one, and they don't got they big dogs, the Gasol brothers. So they trying to show out. You
guys are absolutely right. The thing is, this isn't the best Spain national team that we've seen. So
100%. No, it's not.
They got a lot of cleaning up. Yeah, they got a lot of cleaning up to do. But look, the next game is a week from is on the 20th. It's against Germany. So we'll see. So we'll see.
18th against Greece, and then
18th against Greece,
Germany. Yep, 18th.
So that's Greece. Hold on, that's this Thursday, Friday.
Yeah, whatever the 18th
Thursday.
Is. Yeah, I think so.
No, Friday.
Friday.
It's Friday.
And Sunday.
18th and then Sunday. Yep, Friday and Sunday.
They got 5 days.
So Greece and Germany.
Yeah, so they got 4 or 5 days to make the necessary adjustments. So we will see what Coach Kerr does. But But going back to Austin Reeves, he has had, if there's ever a person that has had a good summer, like he's the definition of hot boy summer for 2023. He got his deal. He got his new contract. He got a shoe deal. The shoe just sold out. They only release 2,000, and it was like some Jordans on a Saturday morning. That shit sold out within a minute.
Quick.
And he even, was a couple months ago, he even, he got the Taylor Swift rub, just, being in a rumor. It wasn't even real, but that's, his star is bright right now. So the thing that I've been vibing on, and one of our other purple and gold mine brothers who is in here, Context King, me and him had an interesting back and forth a few days ago about this. But I want to ask, Austin Reeves or D'Lo, who's the Lakers' third option? Because we know who 1 and 2 is. We know 1 and 2. Who's that third option? And I'm just saying, it sounds about white. That's all I'm saying.
Bro,
sounds
you are
about
a fool.
white.
You are a fool. Okay, I'm just gonna say it first. It's going to be it's Reeves. It's Reeves. It's Reeves. It's Reeves. And I'll look. If nobody believes me, go watch the playoffs up till now and watch Team USA. When he's on the court, there's just a vibe with him that it's smooth. It's the same way. He never gets too high, never gets too low. He plays the game the same way. That's why it's Reeves.
And New Dawn, I know you cooking. I know you're about to cook. But I just want to ask this one question, and especially to the listeners, because I know there's a lot of people that's like, come on, Zen, what the fuck? You on your bullshit. It's D'Lo. I want to ask you one question to everyone. Listeners, when was the last time anyone has said anything nice about D'Angelo Russell? To me, it's been a while. It's been a while. Go ahead, New Don. Who's that third
Pat
option
Bev.
for you?
Pat Bev said something nice to him in the podcast, but no.
Yeah, he's just a purveyor of truth.
Yes. So I'm gonna look at it this way: the third option will be Austin, but the spark will be D'Lo. D'Lo's dagger 3 is demoralizing to teams. I've taken a sabbatical for a lot of things, but I still watch basketball and old basketball, especially once we sign guys. And looking at D'Lo's 3-point package, just a pull up shot where we're up 2 or up 4 or even up 10, and he hits you with a 3 like that, and they call timeout. Those ones are like daggers. Austin is getting there where he is hitting them daggers too. And I just think Austin will be just the third option because it will naturally fit, like KB was saying, like he just naturally fits and play make. And when I say third option, meaning they don't always mean points. He may not have the most points out of it. D'Lo might have games where he's just 30, 20, 20 or something like that. And Austin is there, but Austin have a clean stat line of like 15, 10, and 6. Like a clean, like efficient stat line. You're going to consistently say like, yo, his game is so clean and efficient. It's like, okay. And him and Bron play off each other real nice. But I think Austin is the third option, and D'Lo is like the close fourth option, like killer. If you need somebody, hey, we need a 3 right here. Okay, put it in D'Lo hand and just ice that thing, and then he just does it. I can't wait, man. It's a good season, man. It feels good.
KB, where you at on this?
Okay, KB next.
Go to Tone, because I talked first. So go ahead, Tone.
No pressure, ladies first. I appreciate y'all. So as far as usage, ball in hands, I'm probably gonna go Austin for sure. Playmaking wise, I really like this kid. High IQ, not a selfish player at all. He's definitely the type to make the right play. But because I'm a bit of a contrarian, I like to ruffle some feathers and shake the table a little bit. I might go Torian Prince or Gabe Vincent as far as the third option. And I'm going in the scoring category, especially the way, like I said, including Austin, LeBron, the way those two like to play. You know what I'm saying? If you're open, I can guarantee that shot. I'm going to kick it out to you. And I feel like they're going to hit it, especially TP wise. Going to what New Dawn said, I think TP is going to have a lot of those quiet games, that 15, maybe 4. Assists maybe a little bit low, but as far as points wise, like I said, hitting his 3, maybe a couple of big defensive plays and some decent rebounding. I think we're sleep a little bit on that Torian Prince addition. So that's the only reason why I'll give him the third option nod. Again, I understand that El Jefes, the captain of the ships, we're going in order: Braun, AD, Austin. But as far as scoring, as far as, again, it's going to be that sleeper, that dark horse. I'm going to go probably TP. Gabe Vincent might be like my 4th or 5th option.
I like that with the TB option right there. Because I think you are right. I think I don't know if we're sleep, but we're just sleep on his offense. I think we're more so like looking at him as like he's going to come in and play defense. We're going to put him on their best defender in them crunch moments, and he's going to shut it down. Same with Van. I think nobody's like, oh, Van's going to light it up. Like, okay, if you get that corner 3 going, cool. But we're going to need you on defense. Exactly. So you are right. He was one of the high efficiency 3-point shooter, especially in the corner 3. So yeah, Torian Prince might be right on that one. That's a take there. You got to post that take right there.
Might get mobbed. Go ahead, KB.
Well, for ruffling feathers, this new season that's coming up, I don't know if anybody's been watching AD and his workout plans, but he does not look the same as he did last year. He's a lot slimmer. He toned up, and he worked a lot on his core. This is the way it's going to go for me. AD will be the first option. LeBron will be the second option. And then it's going to be Austin Reeves. The fourth option to me, if I can predict this the right way, it won't be TP. It's going to be Gabe Vincent. And then you have TP behind him. The reason why is because I don't see D'Lo closing the games. I see it being primarily going to be Austin Reeves creating the shot for people to be open for them to shoot it. TP and Gabe Vincent are going to have those shots all day long. I honestly believe that's how it's going to go. I think we're going to close the games with Torian Prince and with Gabe Vincent being in there with Austin Reeves. Because all Austin Reeves has to go is go to the middle, kick it out to the corner, Gabe Vincent's there, shot. Same thing with TP. LeBron James, literally all I want LeBron James doing this year, and I think this is what the coaching staff wants him to do as well, just cut. He's one of the best cutters in the NBA. I think there's a percentage on that. He's one of the best cutters in the NBA, and that's all I'm pretty sure they want him to do. They don't want him gassing himself out when fourth quarter comes, he can't do anything, or just doing a what was that, Zen? I think it's Zen's favorite word, a fuck you 3. So literally, like, I'm too tired to do anything, so I'm just gonna chuck up a 3. So like, I don't think we're gonna want that to happen. So that's how I think it's going to go.
Fuck you 3.
Yep, go ahead, Zen, finish it off, man.
Fuck off 3.
That's what I think.
It's first it was the fuck you 3. Then the second one was the fuck off 3. And then that last 3 was the fuck it 3. So they're all different shots. Some of them is the fadeaway. Some of them is the one right in the center, middle of
Rebel. I gotta push back a little bit, man. That fadeaway be hitting. I don't know what happened last year with the right foot injury. That fadeaway, that turnaround jumper be hitting, bro.
The fact that you can say that shit with a straight face. I hope for everyone that's not listening to this on YouTube, on Spotify, Pandora, iHeartRadio. We're also on Google Podcasts, Apple Podcasts. For everyone that's please like and subscribe. I encourage you to hop over on YouTube and look how this woman said that shit with a straight face. Please. Yeah. So that's the perfect plug. I need LeBron to take less threes. If he's feeling it and it's a heat check time, cool. But it's never been his strong suit. He's been decent. He's a decent 3-point shooter. Never been his strong suit. So I'm just saying,
I just hate when I hate when he settles for them.
Yes,
If that's the shot you gotta take, then cool. I'm cool with that. I hate when he settles. It's like, dude, come on now, just take it down. I understand you're tired. I understand you're spent, but take it downhill or get to your mid range. And I think you were right, Tone. I think his foot was bothering him, and he just that fadeaway wasn't going. But yeah, I couldn't say it with a straight face. I would have been like, yeah, I love the fuck it three. I love it when he does the fuck because that's when I could go to bed. I'll be like, oh yeah, he ain't.
It's over. Yeah, you know what?
Oh, y'all gonna have to lay off my goat just a little bit. Like y'all gonna have to lay off my goat just a little bit.
I'm on the East Coast. I'll be on the East Coast. I'm like, man, okay, is this game over? If he shoots that shot, I'll be like, yep, turn it off. It's time to go to bed.
It's like good night, folks.
Oh,
yeah, I love it. Especially when you don't want to go into overtime and it's just a regular season game, and he
definitely trying to close them games. I'm too old for overtime, baby.
Well, fuck it. Let's see if they go in.
Exactly. But hey, let's see how that season plays out, whoever the third option is. But this weekend was Saturday night Hall of Fame ceremony. And we're talking about the notables. We had Coach Popovich. We had Coach Becky Hammond, even though she got in as a player. Dirk Nowitzki. Shout out to D Wade. If you didn't get a little misty eyed when he brought on his pops, then I don't know what to tell you.
Man, I cried. I cried in that part.
Yeah.
When he said we in the Hall of Fame, I was like, man.
Damn, who's cutting the onions? Who's cutting the onions? But yeah, Dirk Nowitzki, but we had our very own Pau Gasol, number 16. He made it into the Hall.
Not Paul, but
Pau.
Pau.
Without the L.
Pau.
Yeah, we had Pau Gasol make it to the Hall, and it just Pau. First of all, what's your favorite? What memories of Pau wearing that purple and gold sticks out for you?
Okay, I could go first on this one.
Yeah, go ahead.
My fondest memory is when he put the putback on KG and he screamed out. And that's when, because we knew at that point we was winning that championship and we was about to get, at that point, Cole was about to get 5 and Pau was getting 2. And that was just like, okay, yeah, it's cemented. He's going to the Hall, get his Raptor. You wanted to win more, but like that was my fondest memory of Pau, man. It just hit us getting them for a bag of chips. That was the other great memory because I don't know what we Kwame and some stuff and his brother. Mm-hmm. It was like
Kwame, his brother. Yeah, I think it was like one other player and like some draft.
We paid dearly for that. We paid dearly for those two. It seems like Lakers pay for their doggone rings because we do these trades or sometimes and we just get away with Bloody Birdie or did we go on some kind of awful trend. It's like, why did we sell our souls for that? But I'll sell it every time.
For a ring time.
For me,
ring, always sell it.
Yeah, before we get to Tone, for me, the moment that stands out for me, and we were in, KB, we were talking about this a couple nights ago. It's during that in the 08 Olympics during the group play game between USA and Spain when it was covered at length in the Redeem Team documentary on Netflix when Kobe ran through his chest. Now, for folks that don't remember, this is a month and a half, 2 months after the 08 NBA Finals where the Lakers lost to the Celtics. That one still hurts. But Kobe, he did so many things in that moment. First, on the surface, he was setting the tone for the USA team. You know, like, hey, we gotta go after it. He was setting the tone for them. But you know, you ever have that one person that you don't even have to say words to, but you can just give them a look? That's what that reminded me of. Because Kobe, I think he was also sending a message to Pau, say, "Yo, you need to be this tough when we go back into the Lakers season." And Pau just got up. And please tell me if Pau didn't become a tougher player when, you know, after that moment.
Most definitely.
You know, obviously we won the next 2 NBA finals. So for him to be able to be better from that moment, when he could have sat out the game, he could have took it personal, he could have been upset with Kobe, he could have requested a trade. Nah, he took that as a challenge and he answered the call. You know, we won the next 2 NBA finals. It helps cement his legend, you know, get him into the hall. Tone, what any Pau Gasol moments for you?
So no disrespect to you guys. I'm a little bit younger than you guys, so I didn't have the same passion or understanding for basketball around those times as I do now. But I definitely recall those Kobe days because I was a little bit of a Celtics fan. So I watched us kick ass, but then I watched our ass get kicked, you know what I'm saying, in the same breath. But I remember, I think, was it like maybe 09 playoffs? It was maybe the finals. It was Orlando and LA, and it was not like a super duper play, you know, like highlight reel type thing, but in OT, I think game 2, I'm looking it up now, Kobe got doubled on a drive, Pau cut, nice little bounce pass to Pau and one, right? But I remember, and I don't remember where I saw it, but I remember that clip for a long time, the conversation they were having in the locker room. And, you know, the rap that Kobe got for such a long time, you know, kind of being a selfish player. Even a lot of the younger guys say how he was not necessarily standoffish, but he was such a serious guy. You know what I'm saying? Where it's like, he's not kikiing, he's not doing too much, he's here to work. But just to see the joy that he lamented, you know what I'm saying? Talking to Pal like, bro, we were here. Like that shit, I love me a good bromance. I love me a good, like, you know, dude to dude connection. You know what I'm saying? So I just think that they clicked at such a good time. Again, after the rap he got, not being able to kind of like finish the deed off with Shaq and everything for their you know, tandem to kind of continue to flourish. No offense, Shaq got replaced and Pal was an exceptional replacement. Who can ask for anything better? It's a once in a lifetime thing. You don't always find great players like that to join your squad. Like Nudon was saying before, how the ownership, for so many years, several years, has found a way to kind of get pieces to be, you know, put themselves in the notoriety that they have been able to for so many decades, so many years, is amazing. So, you know, like I said, shout out to Paul, because he could have easily said, nah, this ain't for me. You know what I'm saying? A lot of guys, their ego trumps everything, but he just came back every year bigger, better, and stronger for the most part.
KB.
You guys gave very good memories of Pau Gasol and Kobe Bryant. My favorite one is when, one, it was a video when I first seen it, because they were doing like behind the scenes on what it takes for the Lakers to get ready for the games. And there was one instance where you just see Kobe was like, Pau. He just goes like, and Pau's like, I got you. He automatically is connected with him mentally. They had a brotherhood. Their chemistry was on point. And like Zim was talking about, when Kobe ran through his chest, that was some of like that. I know a lot of some people don't know the game like that, or like, that's just messed up. Why would you do that? It's not good sportsmanship. Yes, that is. That's very good sportsmanship, because watching stuff like that happen, that just lets you know, like Zen said, that's setting the tone. Anytime in any sports, anything in the game, you have to set the tone doing something. This is how it's going to be read. This is how we're going to play. So when that happened, that was dope. Memory for myself is when Kobe was talking to Pau at the end of the game saying, you're like right there. If you see that screen right there to set it, I'm going to give you a look. You know when to set it. So in the game, I think it was against either the Celtics or the Magic, It was one of those games where they were
I think we have the same memory. I think it was the Orlando.
Exactly.
Series.
And then you just see
Orlando,
Kobe.
yeah.
Exactly. You see Kobe look at him, and Paul's like, "You want me to go?" And he's like, "Yeah." And then he sets the screen, gives it to him. He gets the layup. Boom, done. That memory like that was dope because when you see Kobe Bryant jumping up and down and saying like he was happy he won that one, especially against. I think it was against the Magic. So he won that one. He was super excited. He went to the crowd. He did that. I jumped on my couch. My mom almost beat the dog style on me. I jumped on my couch. I was like, "Hey!" I was like, "That's," you know what I mean. So when he was doing stuff like that, it was just dope because you kind of you felt the love they had as brothers, the love they had as a team, and just what they were doing. They were just really, really dominant. So that was my best memory. And I think me and Tony just connected on that. Tone connected on that. Excuse me. So that was dope.
Absolutely, absolutely. Well, going back, speaking of this class, right? And it made me think of something, and I had to do a little research. But if you look at last night or this year, class of 23, Hoops Hall of Fame, you got Dirk, you got Tony Parker, and yeah, you have Dirk, you have Tony Parker, you have Pau Gasol. No. Manu didn't get inducted this year. No, Manu didn't get inducted this year. It was Tony Parker. But you have 3 international players, right? And then I did a little research, and the last time a U.S.-born player won the MVP was 2017, 2018. That was James Harden. Since then, Giannis won back-to-back years. Nikola, Nikola won it twice. Embiid won it twice. So we got going backwards: Embiid, Joker, Giannis. Last 5 MVPs. My question is, do you think we're seeing a shift in the landscape when it comes to the NBA and who's dominating the sport? Because I think it's safe to say right now, Joker's the best player in the league. Like I can't see anyone arguing that point. Giannis is 2 or 3. He's either 2 or 3. He's up there. But do you guys see a shift in the landscape when it comes to international players compared to American players?
I do. I mean, from who was like one of the first to come in? Like when Tony Kukoc came in, he was doing this thing. I think there was a couple before him, but my biggest memory is when Tony Kukoc came in. He was just dropping points, and watching the Dream Team. How that came out when they were recording and stuff like that, and they said Tony Kukoc was on on Michael Jordan and Scottie Pippen's radar, saying we're just gonna lock him up so he doesn't come and play. Those type of like moments with somebody that good, you need 2 people to take turns guarding him so he can't score what he normally does. I think that kind of changed the mindset, and then also when Dirk came in. So I think it's changed for the better. I mean, it's more competition. It's better for USA players who used to win it like on a regular to get better, to up their game, to open their skill sets to more, to doing more than just being one set skill set. So I think it has. I think it's changed for the better.
I don't even know if I will consider it change for the better. I just think we're paying attention. You know what I'm saying? Like the term KB used is they're on their radar now. You cannot deny it. There's not, with all due respect, there's not 4 or 5 African-American players that are better than Jokic right now. You know what I'm saying? Even better than Embiid. And I have my personal gripes against Embiid from time to time. You know what I'm saying? It's not just James. It's not just Russell. It's not just LeBron. It's not just AD. You have to pay attention to Luka. You have to pay attention to, like I said, Joker. You have to pay attention to Joel. Considering even like Shea, they're not. I don't think they're American born. OG Anunoby, even Canadian. RJ Barrett, as he as he finds his footing. You know what I'm saying? None of them are just USA bred, born, straight out of Louisiana, straight out of Georgia, straight out. You know what I'm saying? You got to consider even the kids that are second generation American. You know what I'm saying? I don't know many of them off the top of my head, but you'll be surprised. Haitians, Jamaicans, Africans, you'll be surprised if you go and do some real research. Like I said, it's like not all of them are American born. You know, they might represent the American community. Even Kyrie himself, I don't think Kyrie was born here. You know what I'm saying? So you got
technicality.
But like you said, technicality, but it's true. It's a fact nonetheless. So I think we're just paying attention now, and you got to give those guys, you know, credit where credit is due, period.
A good example that Tone just said, because they weren't born here, Paolo Banchero. He was supposed to play for Italy. He switched real quick. But that's one.
Yeah, I'm at a place with the international game is that it's going in a direction where now the cream is rising to the top at this point. Where before it was kind of they were subtly here, they was because you had the Ricky Rubios, you had the other guys here and there that was like just they fringe, they were guys. You had to notice them, but they wasn't like out there, up there. Now you got the jokers, you got the Luka Doncic, you got even what's the name from the Jazz? Look how he I forgot his name. He's over in
Marketing.
Yeah, no. He's overseas serving his country right now.
In the military, yeah,
in the military, serving his country in another with another nationality, another country. So I just think it's just they've caught up. Now, do I think somebody else is going to be? Are we going to see steady diet of jokers and stuff like that? No, I don't think so. You're probably going to still get meaty, like middle of the road guys that's still there, but they turned this game international. It's at a place where it's just already there. Like I wouldn't be shocked if travel gets a little bit better. Don't be shocked if an expansion team is overseas somewhere. So don't be shocked. And
I wouldn't, not at all.
I wouldn't be shocked. And with the well, we're not going to get into the Saudi Arabia. We don't want this to get canceled. Never mind.
No, hey,
so real quick.
Hey, give us $1 billion. Give us $1 billion. We give you 100 episodes right now.
But I mean, even they're trying to buy into sports. They're buying into sports now.
Yeah.
So with them buying into sports now, at this point, I think it's inevitable that it's just going to. You might see a
keep
team,
expanding.
Yeah, over in Africa, or they might even have an African league or a European league, NBA Europe, NBA Africa. You might start seeing that in that sense of. That's how they pluck and they move around from there. Like James Harden could then ask for a trade to the Egyptian Nightlings or something, whatever.
Not James Harden catching
the Pharaohs. Take them all the way over there. Take them over there. The
Pharaohs.
Real quick, like I said, I'm gonna point out just how sleep we are. I'm gonna name some of the best current international players, right? So we got the Jokers, right? We got Greek, we got Joel, we got Luka, Laurie, Pascal. I said OG, but I meant Pascal too. I forgot about Pascal now. Who else we got? KP, Kristaps Porzingis, Bogdanovic, Rudy Gobert, Franz Wagner, Josh Giddey, Nikola Vucevic, Clint Capella, Jonas Valanciunas. The list just goes on and on. Like I said, I think we're just more privy now. Like you see them on the main stage, the advancement of social media and stuff. They can kind of get marketed just as much as a LeBron, just as much as a James Harden. Like I said, the thoroughbred USA counterparts. But these international players are nothing to joke with. They can keep up with the best of them. They definitely are owed their respect.
Absolutely. Well,
this is coming from the daughter of an immigrant, by the way.
There we go. Oh shit, I'm the son of an immigrant. But I just thought it was the international flavor into the league. It's something that we see influenced. We look at how the Spurs, the offense runs, even the Warriors offense. There's a lot of European influence in there, and I think it's making the game better. I'm all for it. Let the best players, like New Dawn says, cream rises to the top. So that's how it's supposed to be. So no matter where they come from, let's keep it rolling. But we will be back. Our topic, the topic I'm really looking forward to discussing, athletes and activism. We will be back after this unpaid ad from Zens Infused Treats. And yeah, we're gonna get into it with this topic with New Dawn, and we got Tone in here. So we'll be right back. All right, so this is I'm just doing a little countdown and then bring us back because Tony's gonna plug in that ad. 10, 9, 8. Fuck you, Tony. You should be here. All right. 3, 2, 1. All right, so we're back. Thank you for listening to that unpaid ad for Zen's Infused Treats. New Dawn, when we were gonna have this topic, when we picked this topic for this week, you and I have been discussing bringing you on the podcast for a while.
Yep.
And like I said in our intro, you're one of the few people on social media that I actually talk about sports and politics, what's going on in society with. I know, I wanted you to take a minute because I know this is your professionally, when it comes to politics in this country, this is your professional field. What do you what do you do?
So, what do I do? So, I am a consultant for politicians, and just in political sense, I help with different campaigns. The last big campaign I did was the Obama campaign. I kind of did it in a secret because at the time I was in the service, so you can't do that kind of stuff when you're in the service. You got to be neutral. But I did it then, and that's where I got my passion from. I do it not for money. I do it for the love of my people because I think we need a foot in the door a lot of times, and it's just a different dynamic of what I do. I just more so create talking points for people and how to maneuver different things and how to think of different things in your everyday life is got a political tilt to it. Now, it may not be on a national scale, but it is definitely locally. And I like our conversations about sports and politics because a lot of times it's been running into each other. And that's what I'm really got into sports is because I was in the political world and I started really like I watched the game, but I didn't like watch the game. And I started to watch the game. And then at the same time, when you have people like I really remember if you remember the 2020 season, people don't remember the beginning of that season. And this is where we get into more of the activism. LeBron James and the Lakers was all over at where was they in China or Japan somewhere? It was overseas.
Yep.
And Daryl Morey spoke up, and people got upset that LeBron James kind of got him. And I understood what LeBron James was saying. Like people thought he was trying to take up for that regime, and he wasn't. What he was saying was, "Hey, man, we're over here. That's risky.
Yeah. You're putting us in harm's way.
You putting us in harm's way. I get the activism part of it, and I'm all for your activism, but allow us to get over back home first, because they was stuck there. They had an issue, and they had to have security. And I think they ended up canceling the game. It ended up getting bad that it canceled. So, and they had to get back home. And it's one of those things, and it's a multitude of things. And I hate how LeBron now gets a bad rap because they be like, now they could utilize that whenever he starts talking black issues or he starts talking American issues. Then they'd be like, well, what you ain't say nothing when Daryl Morey in China. And it's like, nah, that's not how that worked. He was worried about his safety. He just wanted to make sure he was home.
Absolutely. And you remember because I want to get back to the NBA in a second.
Mm-hmm.
But I remember during that time, remember it even got to the point where China, I guess, banned the NBA from their public television. Like
Yeah,
they blocked it. So that
for
was
literally the whole
a
season. For
huge,
I think the whole season.
yeah, yeah, and that was I think that was a loss of what I think they said about 300, 400 million to the league. But the reason why it's a couple things that really sparked this conversation, and our brother showed up, Tony at the Bald Mojito on Twitter. He is here. What's up, Tony?
Yeah.
Um, but yo, um, the thing that sparked this conversation because right now, we started off this conversation talking this episode talking about Team USA, you know, and these guys are ultimately, we talked about everything from a basketball standpoint, but these guys are representing their country. And 7 years ago, this month in 2016, that the whole Colin Kaepernick um, situation started, and that was a very polarizing time. 2016 election. This was when Trump was better for worse, was on fire, make America great again, and you know he literally used the Kaepernick um, refusal to stand for the national anthem. He used that as a selling point to his base to galvanize his base, and it became like such a lightning rod issue. But I was just looking up some statistics while you were talking, New Don, and in 2020, the league was 74%, 74.6% black, the NBA. 2021, that percentage actually dipped to 73.2%. And, right before the break, we were talking about the influx and the influence of international players really not only entering the league, but damn near being the best players on the court. And, the black athlete, in this country, athletes in general, they're the most visible figures that you're going to see because you're thinking, okay, if you're an NBA player, that means you're going to be on someone's TV. If you make it to the finals, you're going to be on someone's TV live, damn near 115 to 20 nights per year. That's not including a commercial. That's not including replays of the game from last night. You're going to be live on someone's television a minimum of 1/3 of the year. So these are folks with platforms. These are folks that have a lot of influence. And there's a lot of parallels between sports in America and then the issues of society. Um, you know, I want to I want to continue with Nudon, but then get to everyone else. Nudon, what as we start this conversation, what parallels do you see when it comes to, I guess, sports and then I guess society and how the
Yeah.
athletes fit in between?
So how I like to look at it with activism in sports is I think it goes into two lanes. And you talked about Kaepernick. I always call Kaepernick more of I call him Malcolm. He's more Malcolm than Martin. And
Hmm.
a lot of people um look at Muhammad Ali as more Malcolm than Muhammad, but well, I'm not Malcolm and Martin. They look
Right.
at him as more like Malcolm, not Martin. I actually look at him as Martin more so because he was at
Hmm.
peace. He was at peace, and they all was at peace. But it felt like Kaepernick at first was trying to go the the Martin route. I'm going the mountain route. I'm going to be peaceful and I'm gonna peacefully protest. And you're right. Trump took that and multiple other things and played into pretty much the racist kind of man left out bag, and that's what it was, and it came off like he's a spoiled brat. Even though the whole story got muddled, he was actually sitting at one point, and then and nobody noticed it until like a reporter just one day asked him about it, and then he finally talked about it. But before, it was a silent protest, technically. So it just ran out of control, and that's what I think about. Like, society and sports is very much connected, because now I think part of it, the hunger of the game is different now, because thank God. I talk to my wife about it all the time. Like, our kids don't struggle like we did. Like,
right.
They didn't have to get it out the mud. They don't know nothing about food stamps, all like that. They don't know nothing about having to only having one meal. The only time they eat is when they're in school. Now they got friends that do that, but majority of these kids aren't bad off. A lot of them are. I'm not trying to sugarcoat like the childhood hunger and all that other stuff. That is happening. I'm not saying that that's not happening. What I'm just saying, in a lot of kids, especially that's going through the basketball ranks, those kids aren't as like, we first started talking about us going to doing the podcast because Ja Morant was getting in trouble, and finally it took forever. We time and all that other stuff. But even that whole scenario with Ja Morant, you look at that situation, like, Ja came from a good family. Like people talking like Ja some bug. Ja comes from a good family and a good environment. He's not, and a lot of these guys come from good environments. It's not a bunch of LeBron James that's coming from a single family home no more. It's a lot of kids nowadays, which is good. It's great that that's happening. But that also plays into, that's the societal thing. The societal thing is changing because there's more kids with two family households. There's more kids going through not eating healthier, being better with their nutrition. So now that goes into the athlete, where the athlete now comes together with a better body frame and is able to not beat up on their bodies and so on and so forth. But now the drive is different now. Now the drive ain't always there. If you notice down the line, we keep talking about these younger players. I mean, name some younger players that is really trying to get it. There's some, but there's not as many as it used to be. And that's where the societal things coincide, and just the activism in sports has always been a thing. It will always be a thing. You can't silence it. You're not going to ever, because these people ultimately are human beings. Like we fail to realize that these people are human beings. These are human bodies that are doing amazing things. They're doing one of a kind, but they are still humans, and they still have feelings and everything else.
Absolutely. Before we get to Tony, you're just joining us. As we get deeper in this conversation, athletes and activism. Where do you fall in? Where do you fall in with this? What's the connection? What parallels do you see?
Do you guys hear me by any chance? Just
yes.
Sure.
Yes.
All right, cool.
Yes.
So I think I think what Newdon said makes perfect sense, but also there's a factor here. Is like, and if you can hear my dog eating, I'm sorry. But if it's the players nowadays comparatively to what they were, even when it was Bill Russell, and even more prevalent now, they have a platform, and now they're using that platform. There is an association with it now. Like, now you have followers, now you have fans, and now you have basically all the eyeballs. That's why you have the LeBron James. Every single tweet is taken, dissected, and whatnot. The whole Ja Morant situation, it's being dissected by every single party. Like, you've got the NRA guys that are like Second Amendment rights. You got the other side of it. It's like, hey, that's kind of like a gang. Which again, it's this thing now that we live in the media in a more. You have a platform, you have a responsibility, but also, like, if you want to say something, you could say it. And now something that could require a lot more effort doesn't really require that much for a player, like for an NBA player, for an athlete. Like now they have a voice and they want to use that voice to basically. Sorry, my Tom. Sorry, give me a second.
No, you were doing great, Tony. I feel like we could hear you clearly and everything.
Yeah, no. It's just she's being stubborn and she's biting on my leg. Perfect timing. No,
Tony and his bitches.
Yeah. Stop it. So the thing is like that Daryl Morey thing is like even going back to that just a little bit. It's like it's not even what LeBron. It's just I have the tweet here. It's basically I think he was misinformed, and it wasn't a tweet. It was him just verbally like I think the tweet that he posted out was misinformed. That was it. It was just that, and then it's like extrapolate that and to 1,000 different angles. It's like no, like you can see her. It's just in a sense nowadays NBA players, athletes have the power that when Martin Luther King, when Malcolm, like they didn't have that level of eye catching. Like every single thing now is detailed. It's even with Kyrie, like every single move he makes is now dissected. And to a certain point, when it comes to activism, it's like it's actually great if you think about it because now they have a voice. Now they can move certain topics, like they can move ahead on so many levels. Sometimes we see the media aspect be so negative or be so hyper focused into the negative side of things, but if you think about it, they do have the ability now to kind of move the subject even further, like move certain things even more. And I think that's the association now. It's like even like Jaylen Brown's comment, like when he got the bag, I think it was the 3 whatever, and he said like, I want to get black ownership, get black what's it called like Wall Street
Equity
on Boston.
Yeah, Black
Equity.
Wall Street. Yeah.
Yeah, and that's the thing. It's like you now have a voice. You have now the power. Use it. And I think we've seen in both sides how it's used properly and how it's used not properly. So it's interesting. So I'll leave it at that. And I'm sorry if I regurgitated some of the topics.
Oh, it's all good. It's all good. Tone, athletes and activism. What are your thoughts? There's where does athletes when it comes to activism fit into society?
I feel like I appreciate the fact that maybe compared to back then, their voices are a little bit more, and I hate to say it, but it feels like it at times, but their voices are a little bit more tolerated, where Muhammad had to pretty much stop what he was doing. You know what I'm saying? Couldn't even continue his career just to kind of stand up for what he believed in, as to where, you know, we're now pushing more like, hey, these are my rights. I have a right to freedom of speech just as much as any other American citizen here. So, you know, you can't just X me or try to exile me out of the equation, out of my nation, because you don't agree with what I say. When I thought about this topic, the main person I thought about was Kyrie Irving, because even me, first of all, I'll claim ignorance, not ignorance in the sense of like I'm trying to degrade myself. Ignorance because I do lack a lot of knowledge. I am not the person. I'm not going to crack open no book. Be honest with you, I read, but not that frequently. You know what I'm saying? Research is a bitch. To retain a lot of information, to connect a lot of dots is challenging as fuck. You know what I'm saying? I would say a person like me, not only do I not have the time, I don't have the mental capacity for it. So for a long time, I really, really judged this kid, but to to his own point or his own defense, I could see he was growing. And that's what I did too. I had to mature and realize that, again, he is entitled to not only his own thoughts, his own purviews, and his own right to speak freely on what he believes in, but I respect the fact that he tries his best to navigate, those thoughts and stand on them. I really, really appreciate this young man a lot more than I did when I was younger, especially just spitefully because he left Cleveland. Nah, I'll be real with you. You know what I'm saying? But some of the things he stands for, and a lot of it is silent. You know what I'm saying? I know they really tried to smear this kid because of his retweet or like for the quote unquote anti-Semitic movie or whatnot. But you have to understand, again, it's just like without all the dramatics and stuff, there's just little points he's trying to point out that he understands, that he believes in. So she's just going as far back as where he's from, his heritage, his ancestors and stuff like that. And again, that's not something that everyone takes the time to do. So to try to throw him under the bus, because at one point you're going to have, MAGA supporters who believe in the forefathers to the day they die. But God forbid this black man, believes in what his ancestors stood for, what was taken from them, and so on and so forth, for him to fight for that. People forget that this kid stood behind the WNBA when they were fighting, put up a lot of his own money to help those women. Even with this whole Nike thing, you know what I'm saying? For him to have the courage to say, you know what, keep your check. I will go to this other company and do whatever it is that I have to do because they're going to allow me to be me. And still, pursue again his love for the game, because a lot of them, that's where it stems from first. Yes, I love the fact that they're able to create generational wealth. I'll even go as far as Jaylen Brown. I hate to say it, I don't want to put another black man down, another black boy down, but that contract to me is outrageous. But one thing I stand behind is the first things he said out his mouth is, I want to create like a new regime for my people here in Boston. The fact that we're so low as far as, the totem pole, I'm going to put us back up again with their hard-earned money. This is a 9 to 5 for these guys. Yes, as I was alluding to, yes, they have the love for ball, but this is a 9 to 5. They are going to work every day, risking their own careers, their own lives on the line. Like we were talking about the LeBron situation. You know what I'm saying? It's okay for Daryl to have his point of view, but I got to think about my safety first. And I'm glad I kind of segued it to that again too. I think I was talking to my older brother about some of these things once upon a time, especially during that 2020 season. And my brother made a good point for everyone who wants to turn their backs on LeBron. Oh, they might disagree with, what he does speak up for or what he does not speak up for, especially what he's quote unquote silent about. First of all, again, you never know what these guys are doing behind closed doors. Just because they don't report everything or take photo ops for everything, you cannot discredit them unless you have fact like, okay, this NIGA don't believe in this shit. You know what I'm saying? We don't know that for a fact. But in the same breath, it's like if LeBron was to just kind of like bite the bait for everything he believed in, and then they, quote unquote, cancel him, or there's certain deals that he can't, or deals or brands that he can't take a part of and get a check for. Where's the I Promise School? Where's the everything that he does for Akron, Ohio on a day-to-day basis? Where's everything that he does for his 2 black sons and his black daughter? What's everything that he does, to represent, Gloria and all the activism and philanthropy that she does, and so on and so forth. So they got to think about things like that too. Colin too, I hate everything that he's had to sacrifice until this day for him to still look for an opportunity just to play the fucking sport that he loves. He had to sacrifice a lot, to do that. You know what I'm saying? And I get it. They make all this money. They have, I get, at the same breath, it's like a 50-50 type of slate. It's like you can't affect the bottom line. That is a really hard thing to do. Everyone needs their bread. Everyone, the lifestyle that they're now accustomed to, you know what I'm saying? And again, the things that they're putting in, the money that they need to put into the communities, but at the same time, it's just like, it sucks that I feel like it's my people the most that have to trudge that line, of what do I stand for, what is right, or do I, stand for, I don't know, getting my dollars to try to, put it back to, put my money where my mouth is. I don't know. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But
Can I I just want to say this one last point so we can tie this thing up into a little bow. But yeah, that whole I always say to people all the time, international politics is not American politics. The fatal mistake a lot of these guys make is they go into a field that they don't know about. International, like I hated the whole Brittany Griner conversation and how that went because I'm like, y'all don't understand how these negotiations work. Y'all don't understand how it's going to go. So understand that it's kind of like stay in your lane, but also you can still voice your opinion. And just like Tony was saying earlier, where he said the tweet just lacked knowledge. That's all it was. And a lot of times it's just that simple. They just don't know. And beating them down because of that is just silly, and that's where it's at on the politics and sport. Let them speak, and then see where it is.
Here's the thing: there's a lot to unpack here because we go back. You look at Jack Johnson, first black heavyweight champion, 1908, and literally his fights, especially when he was going against white opponents, it was causing race riots, but yet he celebrated. I think at one point he was on a U.S. stamp. You move forward to Jesse Owens, 1936 with the Olympics. Now, America at that time, America was literally using him as a symbol and a fuck you to Hitler, because it's saying, look how bad you treat your people. And we have a black man who can represent us in the Olympics, but then, go over to the States. And this was 30 years before the civil rights movement, civil rights era, and the treatment of
he
blacks.
came back home. He came home to Jim Crow. Yeah,
exactly. He came back home to Jim Crow. He beat Hitler, and he came home to Jim Crow. And we brought up Tony brought up Muhammad Ali, and when he got stripped of his title. So that happened in 1967. The boxing commission, state by state, systematically denied him a boxing license because he refused to fight in the Vietnam War, a war that now historically it's frowned upon. It's looked like we should not have done that. But when Ali was protesting it, it was, he pretty much lost his livelihood in a lot of ways. He fought it in court. He got it back in October of 1970. But when he got stripped of the title, there was a famous black summit, summit of black athletes in Cleveland. And there's a famous picture of it where you have Bill Russell, Muhammad Ali, Jim Brown, Kareem Abdul-Jabbar. At the time, he was known as Lou Alcindor, but this is before he converted to Islam. You have Carl Stokes, you got John Wooten, you have Jim Shorter. These were the best athletes. There was some more in there, like Sid Williams and Curtis McClinton. These were the best athletes in the world, and they came to support him. You don't really see that type of camaraderie and that cohesion among athletes nowadays. And, you fast forward, and before I fast forward, I wonder, with boxing, it's every man on its own. You have your promoter, but, boxers, you stand on your own. We look at the main three sports in the U.S. Baseball, which has had a huge issue with diversity for the longest time. Football, you have nearly 2,000 athletes, 1,800 to 2,000 players, and it's more of a melting pot. But even the majority of the faces of the league historically has been white players, mainly because mostly white quarterbacks. The quarterbacks get all the glory. But the NBA has always been a predominantly black league. Do you guys feel? I'm going to go back to Nudon. Nudon, do you feel that the NBA has more of a responsibility to stand up to social issues than any other, I guess, sporting body?
I think they look at themselves to be able to, as that arbitrator to do that. I don't think it's something that we would decide. I think they've decided that because of the nature of, just like you said, the numbers. They just got more faces. They got more black faces, so they're going to always, and that's across the board too. Like even in, we don't have a conversation about black ownership in the NBA like we do in the NFL, because even though the NFL has minority black ownership, even when minority black ownership in their NFL ranks, you don't see those faces at NFL, or like they don't promote those faces, which I mean that's the NFL way. They promote the shield over everything. So maybe that's just it. But in the NBA, even the predominantly like the minority black owners, you see Drake, a partial owner of Toronto, way more than you see actually their GM, and it's so on and so forth. You see it more, you see them more. So yeah, I don't think it's that. Do they have the responsibility? I think they have grabbed the responsibility and said, yeah, we're going to take it because we got the faces and we do it. That's why, like the whole conversation. Stephen A while ago had the whole conversation about NBA coaches and they not enough black coaches. I kind of felt like it was going to be a cycle. You was going to have a cycle of a whole lot of black coaches, a whole lot of not black coaches, and to go right back to having a whole lot of black coaches like we're having now. I think it's just a cycle.
Yo, Newton, I got a question. Just
go ahead.
When you said the minority owners, and I googled this again. I don't follow NFL. How many black own? Because like I'm looking at this report, and out of the NFL,
it's bad.
MLB, and NBA principal owner, there's only one, and he already sold the team.
Yep, it was Jordan,
yeah.
Principal owner, yeah.
Principal owner. There's minorities here and there, but
yeah,
principal owner, there's only one.
Yeah, it was always one for a long time.
Yeah.
But I don't think it's a little bit, I look at it a little bit different with the NFL because I don't feel like it's more so a systematic, like they trying to keep them from doing it. I just think they don't want to buy it like that. Like, I think they're more into the groups now. If you notice all the new ownerships, they got one governor, but they are a group of people that buy that team. So I think just the model and just how they do it is a little bit different. I feel like the NFL kind of is doing a systematic thing. They are not trying to actively get a black owner, or even the upper echelon executives is bad. Like even NBA got a lot of black executives. Like there's a lot of black GMs. You don't have that. I don't know how many black GMs is in the NFL. I think it's probably like 2, 3.
Maybe two.
Maybe two.
Maybe two.
And then it's two different things. But again, I just harping back to it's their I think they have taken the responsibility. I don't think it's something that we have given to them. They just said, we got the black faces. Let's go on ahead and do it.
Here's my question. Here's another question. So the NBA, I think it's safe to say that the NBA is the most progressive league out of the major sports in this country. Okay. And then
yes, that's true.
And then even if we're really keeping it real, and I have to say this, the WNBA is light years ahead when it comes to being progressive. Unfortunately, they're not a major league yet, not just in this conversation, but in the grand scheme of things. They're not a major league. They're not as big of the end as the NBA. But
we got to have a topic about that, because I think
absolutely
it's by their own doing. I don't know. It's their fault that they're not a bigger league.
Here's the thing.
We could talk about that another day.
Here, I will just say this really quick. We were watching the Hall of Fame last night. Becky Hammond, and we were watching it, and someone mentioned it's really interesting how she thanked Mark Davis for letting her ride the private jet for the Hall of Fame speech, but yet the players can't ride private airfare to their games. Just saying, that's another time. But this is where I want to get to, because we look at the history of this league with the NBA, right? And we look at Jordan, okay? Folks, this is not a fucking GOAT debate. We are not doing that. Not here. Not now. But we look at Jordan, who for the longest time he didn't ruffle the feathers politically or socially. Now, there were times that he did speak out about a couple things, but it didn't get as much notoriety as his commercials, right? Like when Mahmoud Abdul Rauf, formerly known as Chris Jackson, when he refused to stand, or no, he prayed for during the national anthem, and a lot of folks got upset with that. Jordan actually spoke up in support of him, but that doesn't get much attention. But we saw how Jordan became a billionaire after his retirement. He stayed connected to the game. He's regarded as the greatest or one of the greats. I don't care about where the ranking is. We look at a person like Magic Johnson, same thing, really didn't ruffle the feathers politically or socially. Now, he did become an advocate for HIV and AIDS once he was infected with HIV. Once again, he's done great in the business sphere. I think of Kareem, who changed his name in the 70s, converted to Islam. During his playing days, he got a lot of backlash. He got a lot of shit for his political and social views. But nowadays, there's a social justice award named after him. I look at a person like Craig Hodges, who won 2 titles in 91 and 92 with the Bulls. 2-time NBA champ. He's the only player besides Larry Bird to win 3 straight 3-point shooting contests at the NBA All-Star weekend. But in 91, when the team visited the White House, he wore dashiki, and he gave George H.W. Bush a letter talking about the poor treatment of minorities. 1 year after that letter, he was out of the league. Is there any correlation? We'll see. Chris Jackson. Anyone that watched basketball in the early 90s, mid 90s, he was cold. He was cold, folks. He played at LSU with Shaq. If he didn't go through what he went through in his career, I would put him. He would have probably been top 10 point guards ever. He was cold. After his protests, within 2 years, he was out of the league. Just saying. And this was a person that was like, he was a great player. Just look him up. Do your research, folks. The thing about the NBA, the NBA has embraced hip hop. The NBA has actually been proud of being a league with so much diversity. My question is, as NBA fans, the people that love
Rebel,
this game,
sorry to cut you off. I want to kind of like just highlight that. I want to say specifically Adam Silver. And then for 2, it's like they didn't really have a choice. I'll say that. Because remember, buddy who passed away. I'm sorry, his name is slipping my mind. He was all for, I'm tired of seeing chains. I'm tired of seeing jerseys. I want people in suits. No more baseball caps, so on and so forth. I just wanted to kind of
David Stern.
David Stern.
David Stern.
Okay. Where I was getting to is with the NBA fans, right? League has been proud of their diversity. Should we as fans take on that mantle? Should we as fans, NBA fans, saying, you know what? I can't just care about these players when they're in a jersey. Should we be more like, by being NBA fans, should we also embrace the activism since the NBA is such a progressive league? Go ahead, Nudon.
I think it's by choice. I think everybody has the choose if they want to be an activist or not, and or to ask them to be activists. I think, excuse me, a lot of times what's happening is, I think they just like you said before, they were forced to, like you said, they embrace hip hop, and I like it. We talked about the Hall of Fame speech. Allen Iverson, like he
Allen
said,
Iverson, yes.
D Wade said he set the culture. He did. People wasn't wearing arm sleeves. People wasn't wearing the fresh kicks. People didn't wear. I mean, even the Fab Five, man. Your shorts wasn't that long back in the day. It was shorter back in the day. So it's just one of those things that I think. I think it's just inevitable. I think it's one of them things that I don't think we have to demand them to do it. I think them being progressive as they is, I think they're going to push it forward because just the like I was talking about it earlier with our kids and everything like that. I think technology has pushed a lot of this has made things a little bit easier to get to and get at and speak about and everything else because we have these things, we have these mediums now where we're in all different spots of the world and we're talking to each other, we're having a conversation, and it's going to be out on multiple platforms so they'll be able to hear our voice. That's the same thing with LeBron James. That's the same thing with your uncle, cousin, brother. Anybody can now speak their voice, and it's about how many ears listen to it. So they, like Tony was saying earlier about, they just got the eyeballs now. They got more to scrutiny, and I think they gotta navigate the fear of getting told that they were the fear of saying that they're wrong. Like they have to. I talk about it a lot during the season, and y'all gonna hear me a lot on my show talk about, like, if I'm wrong, I'm wrong. Like I can take the loss of being wrong because I then learn from that wrong. Like we got to stop. Sometimes canceling somebody is tantamount to not teaching them. I want to teach sometimes, like the whole thing with LeBron James and that whole teach him. Don't cancel him. Teach him why what he said was probably factually it was factually incorrect and wasn't nuanced enough. And you're on Twitter, my G. You can't get too nuancy on Twitter or X or whatever the heck they calling it this week. So it's those things that you just got to understand, and they got to understand as athletes that they have to be a lot more guarded with their information, but they do have to press a little bit more, and they are able to press a little bit more. But I don't think we should force them, because I'm never into force activism or a push activism. I want them to, because activism comes from the spirit, and I want these players to get it from their gut and be like, oh, I care about this. This is what I want to do. And that brings the energy forward, because that's what you're going to need when you're tired, when you're frustrated, when you're everything else. You're going to need that energy to be able to keep pressing forward, or you're going to quit.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, one of the things that I want to get to in this conversation, I want to get to KB, because I do have a hypothetical, because the influence that athletes have, we like going back to what we were talking about with Muhammad Ali. It's really interesting how the governing bodies. First of all, the government took away his passport when he refused to go to the Vietnam War, right? And all of the governing bodies of the boxing commissions, state by state, denied him to get a boxing license. But in 1996, he was the person that lit the torch at the Olympics. But what stood out to me is he lit the torch at the Olympics when he was weakened with Parkinson's. But then when he was but before, years before, when he was the strong vocal black man, he was dangerous, and they wanted to do their best to silence him and take away his livelihood. And the thing is, I look at a person like Kyrie, and we're going to get into Kyrie in a minute, but I want to go to 2020, okay, in the bubble. Now, from Laker perspective, yo, AD was on his business. LeBron was on his business. We had a great team. We had KCP. We had the Twin Towers of Dwight Howard and JaVale McGee. We had Kuz. We had Rondo being a floor general. We had a great team. We also had a great opportunity because, LeBron, he got to rest up for a few months. But I want to ask you guys this, and it's a nasty hypothetical. When Jacob Blake, outside of, in Kenosha, outside of Milwaukee, or in Milwaukee, not too far away from, like 45 minutes from, Milwaukee. When he got shot, Jacob Blake, the Bucks said, yo, fuck this. We're not playing. Like, we're not going to play a game after just witnessing this. This is after George Floyd, and this is in the bubble. The Bucks said, we're not playing. They're supposed to play the Orlando Magic. And in protest, they said, nah, we're not playing that game. And what led to it, and KB, I'm going to get to you in a second. What led to it was all the players stood in solidarity. Now, there were reports that LeBron was against a protest. He was against them leaving the bubble because there were some discussions by that based upon reports. But the players got on the phone with governors, got on the phone with Obama. What ended up coming out of it was there was no more games played on Election Day. Also, I believe all of the arenas became available for polling stations, giving the people chance to
that is
to
correct.
vote.
That is correct.
Okay, that is correct.
They became polling places, and they became polling places.
They became polling places. Now, this was the Bucks that started this. This was Giannis when he was MVP. Giannis at this time. He's gonna win a title a year later. So the Bucks were a team that had a legit chance at winning the title, folks. My question to you, KB, I want to start with you and go around. Let's say Jacob Blake got shot in Southern California, and the Lakers said, where it was the team that said, fuck this. We're not playing no fucking games. We're not going to entertain folks and people in not too far away from, at the time, the Staples Center is getting shot by police. Let's say LeBron or AD said, no, we're not playing. You as a Laker fan, we have a chance to win a title. We ultimately win the title in 2020. How would you feel as a Laker fan if the team was willing to sacrifice a chance at winning a championship because of a situation like that?
If it's for a good, well, I will say if it's for a good cause, and I mean, championships come and go, but your life, you gotta live. So, and you just got to stand up for what you believe in. So, I mean, ultimately, I'd say if that's what they ultimately believe in, would it suck as a fan of the Lakers for them not to try to win the championship? Yes, but then again, the cause for the reason not doing so, I think, would be justified. So, I would be mad at first thinking as a fan, but then again, as a human being, you don't know what these athletes are going through. For example, I know this is totally off topic because we're talking about basketball. For football, the documentary Quarterback that's on Netflix. I'm watching that not as we speak, but I'm watching that like on my days like when I'm coming home. Like you tend to find out exactly what these athletes are going through mentally, physically. So if that were to happen, I don't know what the Bucks or how they were thinking at the time, but I know that they wanted to make a statement and they did. So if the Lakers did so, I would honor it. I'd be pissed off as a fan, I'd say at first, but I mean, just as a black man, something like that happens, you got to take a stand. So if it happens at the cost of a championship, so be it.
So can I give us a little bit of background? So
Go ahead.
I know the background, a little bit of the background of it because I that election I helped. So yeah, that was part of the negotiations. There was a little bit back and forth on who asked for what. At first, LeBron was like, "Fucking, I'm gone," and then at first it was like, "No, I don't. We could play. Let's figure it out." And then once they got in a meeting, I guess
Yeah,
they
that was the
said
meeting
that
thing. I was about to ask you. Yep.
they finally met together, all the teams, and then word got out. I don't know if anybody, Chris Haynes, posted it, because somebody recently talked about it, but Chris Haynes posted how the Lakers and the Clippers both voted to not keep going in the bubble, and everybody else, so they got outvoted pretty much. So they didn't want to stay in the bubble, and they said for the reason of activism. And the word is that within those teams, the majority was the majority, and they didn't tell who voted for what, but they pretty much was like the Lakers and Clippers. Majority of the Lakers and Clippers fans would have Lakers or Clippers players rather not play. But Obama got on the phone with with Bron and a lot of them, CP, all of them, and the negotiate came out. So as a Laker fan, I would have been okay with them not getting in the championship, because that was a worthy cause. What happened shook me. So, but what came from it, I loved every bit of it, because I'm sorry, I'm the outside looking in. That's the difference between them having this was literally, and y'all gonna see probably soon enough with an indictment, how pivotal
Another one.
that was that was for them to be in Atlanta. And you're gonna with the Georgia, I forgot where the stadium
Yes.
is, what it's called, but that's going to be the epicenter of what y'all going to see about and hear about, that whole situation in that. But that them being able to do that was the difference between us having a Biden administration or a Trump administration. Literally that LeBron James and them and those players, or just I ain't gonna just say LeBron James, those players making those negotiations literally was the difference between Trump being in office or Biden being in office. That's how pivotal that was for that to happen. So it's one of those things, like, I'm glad what came from it, but if the protest would have had to happen for it to be pushed along, then hey, you give up a championship, and then that it is what it is. But I felt like they were never going to do that. They were going to find a way, because there was a lot of money that they was going to lose. So they was like, nah, we got to figure this out.
Absolutely.
So they figured it
and
out.
I want to shout out the and I want to shout out the Atlanta Dream, because of the work that they did, the Atlanta Dream and the WNBA, when it came to
Montgomery, the owner.
Fantastic.
Yep.
The WNBA
Yes.
ran with that, man. They were fantastic.
When it came to getting Warnock and what's the other guy? What's the other guy in the other senator?
Warnock,
When it came to those two runoff
Raphael
elections.
Warnock and Ossoff.
Yes, when WNBA did their work. But yeah, it's it's one of those things where it's just like, I'm just wondering, like, where do we draw the line as fans? Like, it's like us as black people, a black person in America, we have to love everything that players are doing when it comes to activism. But then when it comes to the fandom, like, we already brought him up, Kyrie Irving. I want to start with Tone on this. Kyrie Irving, a lot of folks see him as a cancer to a team. And there's been this recent thing, right? And it's a graphic that's been floating around Twitter. And I can tell you this is really the spark for this week's conversation. It was who is missed. Now they used this as a way to, and I saw you commented on it. It was a way to tell people to shut the fuck up when it comes to AD. It was pretty much who has missed the most games, I think, since like 2018 or 2019. And it's like Kyrie is on the list, Kawhi's on the list, KD, AD is on the list, and like there's like players that has missed more games. So it's like, well, AD shouldn't get all the smoke because there are other players that have missed significantly more games than AD. But the thing with Kyrie is that he's on that list, but a big port, he probably wouldn't have made that top 5 graphic if it wasn't for him sitting out for the vaccine.
The vaccine,
and
right?
Yeah. Now, Tone, I'm gonna get to you. When Kyrie decided to sit out for the backstory is the city of New York put out a mandate that if you're a performer and you live in the city, you must be vaccinated to perform in places like large venues, right? In New Dawn, I know you still live in the city. I haven't lived there in a few years. Correct me if I'm wrong. Now, ironically, the mandate didn't apply to people that were visiting. It was only if you lived in the city. So Kyrie refusing to get the vaccine, he became ineligible based upon the New York City mandates. It wasn't anything on the NBA that the NBA did. It was a city ordinance by the city of New York. Now, Tone, when it was first reported that Kyrie was going to miss games, or because at first they was thinking, oh, he'll only play road games. The owner of the team said, nah, if instead of do that, just sit out. What were you thinking when Kyrie was missing those games because of the vaccine?
I have to be honest. Again, it's like in my immature mind, I'm just like, fuck. I'm trying to understand this kid. I'm like, do you want what's best for your team? Okay, well, basketball is not your first priority, or the NBA, the entertainment aspect of it is not your first priority. Trying to understand him, kind of, again, standing up for what he believes in and things of that nature. But look, now in hindsight, when they ended up letting him play anyway, I think still without taking the vaccine to this day, it's like all of that vitriol, all of that drama that you tried to pin on him that he quote unquote caused. Where do you take culpability now? Where do you, City of New York and Brooklyn Nets organization, where do you guys hold the accountability? Because I mean, they really ripped this kid apart for that. You know what I'm saying? And, in a way, try to make it seem like it cost him the season so much. So isn't that the same season where they were like a first round exit? They got swept by Boston, if I'm not mistaken.
I believe so. I think so. Yeah.
Yeah. That's
and I'm pretty sure they're going to attribute that to the time he spent away from the team. Mind you, every time he comes in post injury, post whatever new drama he got going on, Shawty's still a killer the last time I checked. But again, it's just like, me personally, I wouldn't even know. Going back to the question you proposed before, almost like, is it their responsibility because they make up majority African Americans for their, for this specified league? I don't fucking know. But like New Dawn said, I know this kid has the heart for it. So I really appreciate the fact, again, that he didn't waver. He stood firmly on, again, what he believed in. But I think it's just it's kind of unfair, like I said, especially now where we are now. In hindsight, it's still technically not a requirement. You know what I'm saying? He's still doing what he loves to do. He's still getting paid for it. So all that hoopla and, again, the negative spotlight that they try to create to kind of turn, whether it was the media, whether it was the fans, again, whether it was state legislators, ownership, the negative spotlight you tried to create for this kid, it means nothing now. And one thing I can say I kind of disagreed with was, I think in the end, I don't know, did he create an apology for that or something? Or I wasn't sure. I'm not sure if it was
for what? Which one? The vaccine?
I wasn't sure if it was the vaccine or the video, but I remember he
So
put out like an
okay.
apology.
He did the
Yeah,
apology
so
for the anti-Semitic. Video.
Okay.
Yeah. So
Okay.
my thing is, so with Kyrie and the vaccine, so I'm a New York native, and I live here. So in hindsight, you're right. It was a bad idea. But this is me also putting on my government hat, and also putting on my military hat, because I was prior service.
Right.
They force you to do vaccines.
Yeah.
I understand everybody's view on vaccines. So I'm not going to get into an argument about like what you believe in the vaccine wise, but I mean, the rule was the rule. He took whatever he was take. I thought everybody handled it bad. I thought you could have found a middle ground for him. The middle ground was actually, hey, he plays half the season. And they ultimately got to that point, but it took them a minute to get to that point. And that's where it just was bad it just got bad and worse. It was a snowball effect. And then the anti-Semitic, I always felt like me, Born always, we used to kind of not go at it, but we used to talk back and forth about it. And I always contend that I understand why he didn't apologize, but it's those moments where you be like, hey, man, sometimes it's okay to apologize when you don't really mean it, just to move the conversation along. Because I knew what he was trying to say. I knew what he was trying to do, but they weren't getting it and they weren't listening to you. So because they weren't getting it and they weren't listening to you and you really wasn't being able to be fully coherent about it, it was better to just do what he finally did, was like, hey, I apologize. I didn't mean to, because that's really what it was. He didn't mean, I don't think he ever had a malice bone in his body to be malice. I don't think so. I've seen this guy like before when the Native American tribe that he's a part of was going through Standy Rock, was going through what they were going through. He was there with them, and he was marching with them and moving with them, and was caring for them. And I remember those moments with Kyrie, and it was one of those things that I felt like Kyrie. There was just a moment where Kyrie could have just stepped back, kind of looked at everything, and I think he finally did it and was like, "Yeah, man, I really didn't mean to hurt nobody's feelings." So that's what he ultimately came out and said. He should have said from the beginning. If he would have, I think he would have got still the heat, because the Republicans was going to, everybody was going to beat on him. That's what's going to happen. Pause. But what he should have just done was apologize, say, hey, that's not my intentions. My intentions wasn't that, and then moved on from there. And that was it. But I just, he's a mercurial person, so that's Kyrie.
Yeah. And that's why I said sometimes I empathize with them so much, because that is a very hard line for me to teeter. You know what I'm saying? Again, going back to the vaccine, it's like, do I do what's best for my team, our cohesiveness, the success, later down the season, or do I stand firm for what I believe for my own health, my own body, my own family? And it's like, yeah, come on, guys. Again, we said it within this conversation, they're human beings. That is going to take precedence or priority over, a game and a check, especially because I make XX amount of dollars. I'm not going to suffer. I may not be where I exactly want to be, but I'm not going to suffer. So I have to, as a man, it's God. I hate to trash y'all. Y'all are quick to use that term, or that phrase, as a man. You know what I'm saying? Where do you go? What direction do you turn? And you're less of a man if I feel like, I'm doing this all for the wrong reasons. I feel more of a man. I feel more cemented in my purpose if I do it, if I'm aiming towards a higher ground. Again, my family, my own health, my own positioning politically, however you want to cement it, spiritually, however you want to categorize it or label it. But I'm not against his decision. Again, like you said, Nudon, in certain aspects, it's just the way either side handles it. The people who hate it, the ownership, whose bottom line it affects, and the man himself who's in the center of it. And Rebel, before you go ahead and continue, I don't know if we have time to kind of throw this in there. Again, one of the things I feel like I'm not knowledgeable about is Enes Kanter, because he's one of the main ones who likes to poke the bear when it comes to these guys. And I do not get his end goal. I do not get his end game. I don't understand exactly, I don't know what is it that he's trying to do here. And was it worth his sacrifice as a C-level celebrity athlete or whatever you want to call it?
Yeah, the thing with Enes Kanter, he's from Turkey. He's in exile from Turkey because of him being outspoken. But yeah, he just
Born, don't sugarcoat it. Born, don't sugarcoat it.
He became a right winger.
Yeah, he's a grift.
Yeah. Real quick.
Yeah.
It's a grift. No, let me explain to you real quick what this is.
Go for it.
He is grifting because he sees where the money is. When you see these guys go right wing, sometimes you got to ask if they are really right wingers or are they in it for the money. And that's where you find the line. That's where you find the line. Some of them is only down for the cause because they're getting paid. And Enes Kanter is down for the cause because he gets a weekly talking to from Fox News. So it's a lot of nuance to it, but Enes Kanter is in a different he's in a grifting mode.
Yeah, but it's kind of hilarious though, because if you think about it, he needs to be employed in order to keep his exile. So who's his employer now? If it's not the NBA,
it's Fox.
Like he said, right? Like Nudon said.
I already looked it up. It's Fox. He works for Fox.
Why I kind of brought him up to contribute to this conversation, although he's not, like we said, he doesn't make up the majority of the NBA. But look at where, can I blame him? Again, he's not an American citizen, but he has his rights while he is here. You know what I'm saying?
He's a citizen now. He's a citizen.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, he got his citizenship. Yeah, he got his citizenship, and then that's when he went straight. As soon as he got it, he said, right. He went right.
Because I wondered why it was so abrupt too. I thought it was just more of the downfall of his NBA career, but it all makes sense in totality.
Literally right after he got his citizenship, because they made a big $2.
Same day.
And he ended up on Fox News that same day and went on a trash. And he couches it as, he couches it as, I love America more than y'all Americans. And it's I always feel like when people say that to us, that means you don't know, you have not lived your whole life in America and you have not experienced
you don't know the half.
America as a minority. So when you experience America as a minority, it's a lot different than coming from Turkey. I get what you got going on in Turkey and what's going on with you in Turkey. And my heart bleeds for him because his family is actually going through something and he got to go through something. But when you take the tilt that you taken and try to make everybody seem like they're less American because they don't kiss the boot of America, I just can't vibe with it. And that's where he's at. So it is what it is with Enes.
But again, it's like contributing to that conversation. Like I said, for these players, it's like, again, for him, he has the right as a citizen, but it's like, now look at his beliefs and the things that he stands for. It doesn't correlate with what the NBA or the direction that they want to go in. You know what I'm saying? Or I think majority of the fans even believe in, but is he wrong? Again, he's reserved that right. It's as disgusting as it is. He's reserved that right just as much as anyone else.
But he's not out the league because of that. He's out the league because he's terrible at basketball.
Yeah.
As long as he knows.
I don't think that's what he's trying to make it sound like. He's trying to make it sound like he's out of the league because of his activism. No, you're out the league because you're terrible at basketball.
Yeah. One of the things, circling back to Kyrie, I want to say this regarding the vaccine thing to close that part up with this is on the CDC government website. About the Tuskegee experiments. And I quote exact words from the website. Tuskegee experiment conducted between 1932 and 1972 to observe history of untreated syphilis. As part of the study, researchers did not collect informed consent from participants and did not offer treatment even after it was widely available. Um, Folks, these were black folks that were getting infected with syphilis, left untreated, and then when the vaccines and the treatments were available, they didn't let them know. And that was one of the big reasons why Kyrie was like, hey, we need to question this vaccine thing. It's a funny pass when it comes to black folks and vaccines in this country. And
Born, a lot of the
now,
CDC,
yeah,
just real quick, just to break off of that, a lot of the CDC rules on how they go about testing these things is because of that mistake, because Clinton
yes,
later on had to apologize for those mistakes that they've made. And I don't want to call them mistakes. What they purposely did,
yes,
and he had to apologize for what they purposely did. I don't want to call it a mistake. It was not a mistake. America knew what they was doing. They did it, and he had to apologize for it. But a lot of the CDC rules, the reason why they can't
based
do a
upon
lot of those things is based upon those things that they did to us. So not excusing
exactly.
it, but
No, not
that's where
excusing
the
it.
that's the predicate of it, and it's a terrible history, but it needs to be learned. So
It's
that's where we
need to
go.
be learned. And one of the things that I did appreciate about Kyrie when he was doing that was that, you know what, he was informing a lot of people that did not know about that history, that were ignorant to it. And yeah, is he a pain in the ass? Um, Absolutely. But the brother is a thinker. It's just, I think Kyrie is in a minority. He's literally one of one because he's willing to take on this mantle where he's like, hey, yes, when I'm at work, I wear a jersey, but I'm really a freedom fighter. Now, how he goes about it, you can question. He could definitely articulate himself better to convey his message. But, when the fucking CDC has this on a website, it definitely is like, oh, it kind of makes me understand that, yeah, we as black people, when it came to that vaccine mandate, yeah, or when it came to the vaccine in general, like, you know what? Yes. Now, I'm personally vaccinated, but I educated myself. I made sure because I knew about the Tuskegee experiment. I was like, okay, what's up? And then now I waited when I got vaccinated after I found out, and there was news reports that rich white folks were flying across the country to cut the line to get vaccinated. So I was like, oh, okay. When rich white folks started saying, oh no, I'm cutting the line, I was like, yes, I'm right behind you. I
What's funny
waited.
is that's what I waited for too. I waited for the I waited for them to
Yeah,
be like, okay, yeah, when the rich white folks go grab it, that's what I'm gonna go on ahead and go get it, because I know
exactly.
they ain't gonna put no poison in their body. I showed them no, they ain't gonna do that. Maybe they do, but I don't know. I don't know. I was like, I waited for them, but I didn't get my kids done because I read again. This is reading up on it. It's not that I'm against vaccines; they just don't need it. So I'm like, I'm not. Again, my kids hate shots. I
Mhm.
don't want to sit there and hold my kid during the shot. So when my son had to go to the hospital and he was like, yeah, he's done with shots for now for the next couple years, unless you want the vaccine. I was like, no, I don't feel like holding them. It was pure laziness. It was like, oh no, I don't want
Mhm.
to hold them. So it's like,
That's
nah, you don't need
funny.
it, nah. But I did do my research. People don't think I didn't. I did do my
That's
research on
funny.
it.
Yeah, kids are very
Kids are
resistant.
less, yeah, they're very less successful to
Yeah,
it. They don't have no underlying issues. So I was like, whatever. But that's my choice. I have underlying issues. My wife has underlying issues. So it makes sense for us to have gotten it. We got it at the same time. But our kids, no. Our oldest kids have, because they're going to college and stuff. So they did, but our younger kids, nah, we gonna let them decide when they want to do it. And that's that's on them. But yeah, I was with you on that, Born. I was like, hey man, oh, Bill Gates and them got it. Oh, when it was real for me when the president got it. When I was waiting, not Biden. I was waiting for
45.
Yeah, when 45 got it, I was like, oh, it's clean, it's good.
You know,
let's go get it.
Can I push back though a bit here?
Go ahead.
Yeah, go ahead. That's you, Tony.
So there is something that's like a red flag in this situation, and it's kind of like it ties into the activism. It's who has the power. If you think about it, there are these NBA players are taking up a role that's better suited for, like, say, a politician to a certain extent. Like the scrutiny of what they say has weight. And sometimes if they're ill-informed, has consequences. So for instance, if let's say Kyrie says, hey, don't get the vaccine. Just don't get it. It's different to say that. And by the way, that's not what he said, but he said that nobody should force somebody to take a vaccine. That's his words. If you view that, that makes sense. But the problem with Kyrie, and there's a lot of athletes like that, is that their articulation falls short. Like it's and that's where it creates this storm, this problem. And it's like it's not the thing that activism and being an NBA player, I feel like that should be done deal. You have a voice, use it. You have a platform, use it. You have viewership, use it, followers, etc., etc., etc. No problem with that. What's scary is when you have not the entire information. For instance, what happened with the video. You know what, and then after that, how he reacted to it, because that could have been nipped in the bud, like instantly, but he decided to take the weird route. He decided to take the weird route for every single thing, and it's his character. That's fine, but when they have that level of power or / influence, that's where that's where I have issues with the whole activism and NBA players. Like,
so it's not necessarily the messenger; it's kind of their message per se.
Basically, so it's like saying, like, if their message is not on point, it could lead to a worse situation. Misinformation, yeah. or basically like they're misinterpreting what they're trying to say, and then you have to like
get that
evaluate it. It's like if LeBron James comes out with a cryptic tweet, and the tweet is like, oh my god, like he's saying like he's pro China. Like what I'm trying to get at is like, yeah, it's
Tony, you're making a great point.
I get that.
Your pushback is not that hard of a pushback. I'm a little disappointed in that. But
maybe not pushback. No. I just wanted to cement that part also.
Yeah, but what you got to notice is in a lot of activism, there's an educator there somewhere. It's usually either. That's why you might have seen my face when you said politician. I was like, I'd rather have an educator there. One of the politicians out in California, I forgot her name. Her name's slipping my mind right now. Porter, I believe. She does a lot of y'all got to watch actually C-SPAN and when she does it.
The congresswoman.
Congresswoman out of California, and she does a lot of education. She's one of those politicians that I would like. Okay, cool, because she's an educator. I want an educator out there, and that's what you're saying. The articulation is gone, and that's what if you notice in all those pictures and everything like that. If you listen to a lot of those books and read those books about the activism, there was always some kind of educator there, or they were the educator. Like either like Martin was he went through school. He went through college. He's learned, and these guys go through college and they educate. And I'm not saying they're ignorant in a sense, but you're right. Their articulation of the vocabulary, the English language, is not always great. So when it's not great and not coherent, that's when you could pick it apart. And then when you can pick it apart, that's when you mean why if LeBron James had a educator there to tell him, hey, and that kind of coincides with what I said earlier, like that's that thread line of knowledge, and that's where I don't want to then cancel that person. I don't want to cancel
like you said, just
Kyrie because of his what we thought was anti-Semitic, even though I knew and a lot of people knew he didn't have a vicious bone in his body. You educate a Kyrie right at that moment. You don't denigrate him. You don't shun him. You say, hey man, I don't think you really know what this is about. Let me educate you, my brother, on this a little bit more and be able to articulate. That's why I think by the time he got to his apology, he was educated on it. And he was like,
a little bit more.
That's how I made y'all upset.
To Tony's point, with great power, like I love to say, y'all know I fucking love Spider-Man. With great power comes great responsibility, sweetheart. And you guys can more than afford these resources. So I definitely agree with both of you. Like, kind of like a nice bottom line is like you have the affordable resources, you have the outlets. Educate yourself appropriately first before you put out any message, because it can be easily misinterpreted, easily weaponized, and you can easily spread misinformation. I understand that's not what anyone's goal is, most likely. Hopefully. Not Enes Kanter, but hopefully.
Yeah, and that's so and just wanted to put a bow on this. Like, that's also the part where these athletes, and I think the NBA, they have the tools, the correct eyeballs to kind of propagate a message. So once they do that, they have to be clear that it's the correct message. So always like, and I'll say this to anybody who's listening to this. When you see a tweet, when you see some sort of news, when you see anything, at least I'm not saying, and everybody is rightful to have their own opinion. They have their right. It's just inform yourself, take a seat back, and don't let Twitter or any other outlet influence you to the point where it's like, that's a fact. Like anything in life, absorb the information and make a conclusion, but absorb every information. That's
absolutely, Tony. And you know what? Look, there is so much more. Like, there is so much more. I think we're gonna turn this. This is a part one of our athletes and activism. Next week for episode. I know for the rest of August, episode 7 and 8. It's gonna be about Kobe. Next week, for episode 7, we got Lakers Guru from Late Night Lake Show. Episode 8, we got a very special project that we're working on called A Love Letter to Kobe. But this athletes and activism, we're gonna have to do part 2 sometime in September, because there's so much more. We haven't even gotten into HBCUs, and we've been talking so much when it comes to race that we haven't even talked about gender, because there's a whole lot to say about what from a DEI standpoint with what's happening in Texas. The fucking governor of Texas saying, hey, don't let diversity be a factor when it comes to hiring. We haven't talked about Florida. We haven't talked about Alabama, Arkansas. Just today, it was there's reports in Arkansas how AP African American Studies is no longer they're no longer giving full credit for AP African American Studies. But European studies are. So there's a lot here, because I definitely want to get into the gender element of it and the equality there. But my last question, and I'm going to give it to KB, because KB just been chilling for the longest time before we move on and wrap this episode up. But KB, we saw Jaylen Brown. We saw him get the 303, 304 for 5 years. We see AD got the 3-year extension for 186. So the max salaries now are in that $62 million range.
Mm-hmm.
Tone just said it. Come great power, come great responsibility. With these players now getting more money than ever. Jaylen Brown is going to get more money in a year and a half from this extension than Michael Jordan made his entire career. I want to ask you, do you think with the money that these players are making, they will feel empowered to speak out more? Or do you think it's like, yo, I got a chance to make money for that my great grandchildren won't have to work. Let me just make this bag. Do you think we're going to see more activism or we'll see less?
I think more, and I think with that question, I think Brown would probably be the perfect player to do both. Generational money, and then also to do be part of the activism. With that, yeah. So I'd say more. The reason why is because they have that much money and they can start something and build something. Corporations, organizations, and stuff like that for their community. I think Brown did make a comment about wanting to do, the Black Wall Street that was tore down in Oklahoma. So I think he said he wanted to build that back up in Boston. I don't
Tulsa.
know why.
Yep.
Yeah, in Tulsa. Yeah. So I don't know why he wanted to do it in Boston I don't know if this is right, New Don, but I heard that Boston is probably one of the most racist places to it's pretty racist over there. So I don't know why.
Yeah, they're
No.
moving into a different direction, but
Mhm.
Boston has been in the past.
In the
I don't
past.
want to
Okay.
say
Mhm.
really big now. It's moving in a different direction. I haven't been to Boston in a while. The time I went, they were moving in that direction.
Mhm.
I just can't tell you if they moving still in that direction, but the wheels of the wheels of racism in America move slow, but it do move. And so
Right.
I mean, we might get to utopia when our kids are around, but as of right now, we're gonna have to deal with a little bit of racism sprinkled around a little
Well,
bit here and there.
No,
But yeah,
exactly. So
Boston,
yeah,
Boston has a history. It has a
yeah.
history. I don't know if
yeah,
their history
there's
is
definitely a
still
history
Because
there.
I was there 3 years ago, so I didn't feel like it was racist, but I haven't wanted to live down there long enough to experience it.
Me
So
too. It
yeah.
was about 5 years ago that I was there, and that's the last time I was there. And yeah, I didn't feel it. I didn't see it or
Hey,
feel it like I
nah, I
felt
was
in
gonna
other
say
places.
even Marcus Smart, I believe, like somewhat of like an exit interview or intro interview he's done for Memphis. He's spoken about, still some of the things he's went through, even as a prominent figure in Boston. So, I get that, maybe we don't feel it, but I think on the grand scheme or
Oh
like on
yeah,
our
it's
platform, those
it's definitely still there. Like it
Mhm.
was
yeah,
like that in Milwaukee. Like Milwaukee is still they're getting progressive, but still
Utah. Yeah.
Utah, parts of New York is the same way. There's parts of New York I would not go to. There's still sundown towns in America. So it's like
Yep.
it's just
Right.
gonna
I
Absolutely.
happen.
mean, but all in all, I'm just glad. I mean, when he said he wanted to build the Black Wall Street back up, that's a good idea, Zen. So I mean, with that, I think it'd be both. More so for AD, I never really seen him as become an activist. He's been more like just focused on his game and being better. So I would say on the game's perspective for basketball, AD has to step the fuck. AD has no room to be like he wasn't given the opportunity. Like he got that extension. Now you have to be the man. So that's right in that. So yep.
Well, all right. Well, it still comes down to what you do on the court. But hey, we'll see if these guys will feel empowered with the money that they're getting to speak out more because we definitely need it as a society. But look, this has been one great conversation. Definitely, we're gonna do a part two because there's still so much more. But one of the last things we like to ask our guests, and as we wrap things up, Nudon, is what we're watching. What are we watching on TV, on movies? We know there's still the Hollywood strike going on with the writers and the actors. Time to catch up on streaming on our watch list. And there's some new shows coming out. But what are you watching, Nudon?
All right. So winning time is on. So I'm catch winning time when that's on. I seen the last episode. I'm about to see the next tonight will be that. I probably won't catch it tonight. But I am going to catch up to what's the one? Because there's been some terrible. Let me just tell you what terrible stuff I watch, which has turned me off. The Blackening, terrible.
Mm.
this Flash movie. It was terrible. So I've been jaded by
Wait.
things. Oh, you know what I'm gonna
Wasn't The
watch?
Blackening supposed to be a comedy type of? You wasn't feeling it?
I ain't know what it was. My wife warned me. She was like, "This movie is bad," and I was like, I like all types of movies. No, I couldn't get through it. But what I am going to get ready to watch is I have not finished up Secret Wars or Secret Invasion. Secret Invasion, is that what it is?
Yeah.
Secret Invasion.
I've seen episode 1 and then I've been caught up. I haven't caught up to it, so I know it's done. So that's what I'm going to stick down and watch. Yeah, somebody told me, and I was like, okay, I'll give it a second, and then I'll watch.
It's more. Here's the thing: it's more appreciated if you view it as a movie. So basically, just continue to watch it just straight through. It makes more sense that way than.
I just want to get through all these episodes, and I want to get. I already seen Guardians of the Galaxy, so it is what it is. But I want to get to. I'm waiting for Loki. That's what I'm waiting for to come out. So when Loki comes out, I'll do that. And the other Rebel movie, Star Wars movie, that's what I'm be watching. So a lot of Disney Plus.
Yeah, definitely. No, we spoke about this a couple weeks ago.
Are they a sponsor?
No, not yet.
We
But
wish.
they
God
better.
damn.
As much as we say the word "fuck" on here, we better get Disney as a sponsor. No, but you know what? The thing with Secret Invasion is going to be one of those things where, when this whole phase, because I think, the first Avengers movie is the Kang dynasty, and the next one is Secret Wars. I have a feeling that we will have a deeper appreciation for Secret Invasion after once Secret Wars comes out, or that phase continues. We're like, oh shit, this was like
Kang will be
epilogue.
Kang's going to be in that dynasty of Secret Wars. So Secret Wars, and then he'll be in parts of that.
Yeah.
So wait,
it feels like an epilogue.
Yeah. So is it me? And we'll probably have this conversation at some point, probably in a
prologue,
or in a podcast. But are we really sure that Kang is like the evil, because this can, and I'm not saying the actor is doing a great job. I'm just saying
that dude making money.
Yeah, I'm just saying that villain is
the all powerful.
I don't know. It's just not like, you know what I think. They had Thanos up here. And now that it's Ken seems like just like the foot soldiers.
They're saying he's more powerful than Thor.
I know.
Which is funny.
I think he's going. Yeah. I think what they're trying to do is build him. So he's like a weaker King. So then he's gonna just elevate up to this more stronger King.
Right, because there's different versions of him through time.
Version I think is as stuff starts to maneuver. Then that's when I think they're going to be like, oh, he's getting.
So, perfect example of that, Nudon. If anybody has watched the movie The One with Jet Li, remember when all of his past selves were dying and he kept on absorbing their energy and power? I think that's what it's going to be for Kang. So, because he has different parts through time. So, the more people that die, the stronger they get.
Yeah, that might be the case. I think I'm with Rebel with the whole. I think this is a whole epilogue. I think this is going to be. I think we're going to have to watch this bad boy through, which is, I don't know. I'm not into the silly humor all the time with the Avengers. It's like this is a serious moment. The world is blowing up, and y'all want to chuckle and laugh. It just gets weird.
Man, I was like, I don't know how the hell you can make it a joke when he said, I am inevitable, and then he said, I am Iron Man. I'm like, bro, I started laughing right when he said that shit. I'm like, bro, come on, man. But it just depends.
Tone, what are you watching?
Don't judge me. For one, I'm so out of the
I'm
mood.
judging.
And I'm so old school. I don't really watch TV. TV watches me from time to time. I might indulge and binge watch some stuff. But right now, I've been watching a lot of Everybody Loves Raymond for whatever reason. That shit is funny.
Wow.
That shit is funny as hell. Yeah. And SWAT. I've never watched the OG LL movie. I planned on it though, because I didn't even realize it correlated
LL
to
Cool
the
J.
Netflix series. Right.
Mhm.
Listen, I love me some LL Cool J as an actor. But
50
I'm
years of
enjoying the
hip-hop.
yeah. Shout out to him. But yeah, I'm enjoying the series a little bit. I like a lot of the little crime dramas, fictional dramas or whatever. So it's been fun. I can't really think of anything else. I'm interested in watching Twisted Metal. So I have Peacock. That's like the main streaming service I use.
My
Twisted
wife said it was
Metal.
good.
Oh,
She
it
said
looks
she
so
liked
fucking
it.
good. Do
Yeah,
y'all
she said
remember the
it's good.
PlayStation for back in the day when we were younger?
Sure do.
I fucking used to love. I used to be scared of it. I'm not gonna lie, but at the same time, I used to love
the
it.
clown head car.
Exactly, you hit it right on the head.
You're on
It gave me it vibes. So
Yeah.
yeah, and I like Anthony Mackie a lot. So I said I'm gonna try to pick it up one of these days. So that's about it for me.
Don't worry
All
about
right.
it. The first Resident Evil scared the shit out of me as a kid.
Hey, New Dawn, I do have a question for you because you are a fellow WWE head. How are you feeling about the bloodline?
So I feel like they don't know what they want to do, even though if they had a good enough writer, they would be able to stretch this thing out. But I don't know what's up with. I don't know if that was fake or if he's really gone or going to I heard so many different rumors of Jey Uso going to like AEW or something else. So it's like, what's going to happen? But I like that storyline. But I wish they would have gave how I wish they would have done. And I wrote this. I wish Jey Uso would have won. Then you let Roman go off to vacation for a couple months to like WrestleMania maybe, and let the three brothers fight it out all the time. Just keep try to be the tribal chief. They fight it out trying to be the tribal chief, and then like have just a family turmoil for a while, and then have Roman Reigns come back to clean everything back up and get them all back together. I thought you could have went any direction, but I don't know where they're going with this.
You know what? Look,
we'll watch it.
This is the best storyline. I've been watching WWE 30 years. I go back to Bret Hart, Razor Ramon, 1, 2, 3 Kid. This is the best storyline. I am enjoying this as an adult, and it's just like, holy shit. Now, when Jimmy kicked Jay and cost him the match at SummerSlam, it was like, yo, what the hell? That didn't make any sense. But when Jimmy's like, yo, I didn't want you to become an asshole like Roman, it's like, okay.
It made sense.
It made sense. And I'm just thinking, I'm like, if Jay, where do they take the storyline? I still think it comes back to The Rock. I still think it's like, okay, Solo, you got your two brothers that turned on you. You got your cousin that turned on you. Your whole family that's in the WWE, they've turned on you. You say, yo, fuck it. And then shit. Like, who else is out there? I think at some point The Rock says, okay, you know what? No, you got more family. Let's even the playing field. Something tells me it's going to be Bloodline. It's going to be Bloodline versus Bloodline at Survivor Series. I don't know if they bring up The Rock's daughter. I don't because they got a whole bunch of members of that family in the Indies. It'll just be really interesting what they do. It's a dope storyline. I enjoy it. Cool to get some WWE talk. Tony, Ball Mojito, what you watching, man?
I just finished up watching Superman and Lois, the first 3 seasons. It's I binge watched it. It's on Max.
Was it the animated or the real life?
No, that's the real life. It's
the most recent one. The most recent.
Yeah, the most recent one.
I heard it's good.
Yo, here's the thing. My expectations were no. CW does something wrong, and it's that their CGI. Ooh. I'm sorry, it sucks. It's just normally it really sucks. Their storyline, things like that, character development, fine. It's all handy dandy. But as a father, having the whole Superman kids how they raised him, the whole like dynamic and all that. It was pretty intriguing. Like it's something for me, at least I found it new. Like it's not something that it's not like the whole dynamic between Lois and Superman. It's like their family raising teenagers. Like it's actually pretty dope. The one thing I will say is the CGI in that series is, I would say, is probably the best CGI for Superman that I've seen. And that says a lot about Jack Snyder, Man of Steel, and all that shit.
Oh, wow.
I'm sorry.
Oh,
It's just
wow.
no.
I've seen
Here's the
some
thing.
of the clips. I've seen some of the clips, like how Doomsday look was like more realistic than movie one was.
Bro,
I was
that's
like, wow. I seen the clips of it, so
from,
I know it's
from a
probably good.
CW product. That was like, damn. And
Yeah, network TV, little low level network TV. It ain't even high level network TV. It's low level network TV.
Yeah,
but it to be that good, it is. I've seen clips of it.
No, it's pretty good. And also the
same
fact,
network that used to have girlfriends in Moesha.
I mean, Supernatural too, and all that shit.
And wouldn't give them shit.
Yeah.
Shit.
But I will say, I am starting to watch. I got Paramount Plus, and I started to watch.
Finally, took you long enough.
Look at me, dude! It's
expensive.
It's expensive shit. Like it's $15 for Max. It's now $15 because I can't.
You better start paying them years. I do the year. I do the year. I
Do
don't
the
do
year
that
stuff.
I do the year.
Man, yeah.
You gotta do the year. I just do the year.
So I started to watch again because I'm kind of like I'm not a Star Trek guy, but I kind of like to discover, like the Discovery series.
Oh, did you just fucking puke, bro? What's wrong
really?
with you? Jesus,
Oh wow!
man.
Wait! Do you not like the Star Trek series?
I think that's a confirmed no.
Oh wow! Okay.
You're a Trekkie? I didn't know I didn't know one of our purple and gold mines was a Trekkie.
Well, wait.
No. He said he's
First
trying.
off,
I think he said he's trying to get into
I'm trying to get into it. I don't watch the whole Star Trek thing, but I'm just saying, like, I've been told that the storyline for Discovery, you can watch it like standalone, and it's good. And I kind of want to watch the Strange Worlds, and they told me to watch Discovery first, then Strange Worlds. So that's what I'm doing. Yeah.
I haven't watched Star Trek since LeVar Burton had the thing across his eye. That was the last crew I watched.
Wow.
And that's when I was a kid. So I ain't watched them since then. But I would love to. I know people that are Trekkies and they real serious about them. There you go. Next generation. Yeah, I haven't gotten into it because I'm into so many other sci-fi stuff. It's like, what level of nerdom do I want to get to? I don't think I want to get to Trekkie nerdom. I'm sorry, Trekkies.
I just need something to
binge.
I just need something to binge. That's all I'm saying.
I feel you.
KB, last but never least, what are you watching, brother?
So just like how Tone said she was getting back into like some old TV shows, I started watching, and this is just a morning routine I do. I'm starting to watch Family Matters all over again. So that was I really am starting to get into that, and it's kind of
I did that about 4 months ago. I did about 4 months ago. Ran through Family Matters.
It was just weird to me because I'm already on like episode, I think like 4, and Steve Urkel still hasn't made an appearance yet. So I'm like, when does he make an appearance?
It wasn't until the end of first season 1.
Yeah,
bro, bro, I'm so pissed off because I'm like, bro, the way they make it sound like he's in like episode 1 all the way through, I'm like, he ain't even in this yet. So I'm like, where is he at? He made like an appearance in like episode 3, I think, and then he didn't make an appearance again. But it was like a short, like 5-minute appearance. That was it.
Yeah, because Family Matters, and people don't know, Family Matters is a spinoff
of what?
Perfect Strangers.
Perfect Strangers. There you go.
Perfect Strangers.
Perfect Strangers with I forgot their names, but they were 2 guys and they were roommates at one point, and then Harriet was working for the
one of the cousins
store,
yeah.
and she worked the elevator. And then if you're going to see, I mean, you probably already seen it, but when you get to a place, you're going to see where that connection comes in. It starts at the beginning, but that connection comes in right at the middle when she's going to lose her job pretty much.
No, I'm already there.
I mean,
I was
ain't
already
spoiling.
there.
Okay,
And then she got it
so
back.
that's
Yeah.
then she got it back doing something else. But that show is a spinoff of Perfect Strangers.
Oh wow! So no, yeah, I was watching Family Matters. That's one of the other TV show series that I'm starting to get back into. It's going to be Teen Titans. I know Tony does not like the CGI. Like I said, anything on CW that I've watched, I've loved because it's just been
You mean
dope.
Teen
to me.
Titans, the live action one?
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
it's good. It's not bad. It's good.
No, I like that one, but then again, I've seen there's another spin-off which is called Gotham Knights. So that's another one that they made in that. I've not watched that one yet. I played the video game. It's better when you play with two players. But all in all, I'm watching Family Matters, watching Teen Titans, getting back into watching Man vs. Wild with Bear Grylls. It's a lot of cool stuff in there, especially like I don't know a lot about like different places in the world, but I do know whenever I get lost in the wild, I know my basics what to do. But and then also another movie that I was I'm not trying to, I'm going to watch. It's going to be Guardians of the Galaxy 3. I'm not going to have any big expectations on it because after one was really good. 2 was like, oh, cool. And then 3 is probably going to be like, and for me, but I just got to watch it because I'm a Disney guy.
It wraps it all up. It wraps it up together real nicely. You're going to like it. You're gonna like it.
Yeah,
wraps all
three's
3 up
pretty
real
good.
nicely. Yeah, 3
So I'm
doing
that, and then I'm watching also The Secret Invasion. It is a slow burn because I fell asleep on episode 3. So be careful. The new Don. I just don't, that's that. And then the last TV show that I've promised I need to fucking get on and finish. It's going to be SWAT. I literally stopped watching it for some odd reason, but I need to get back into it because Shay Moore, he's the dope Hondo. I'm gonna just say that he's a dope Hondo.
That's dope. That's dope. Let's see. On Paramount Plus. So Walmart Plus has this thing now that you get free Paramount Plus, but it's it's the version with all the commercials. So so every 4 minutes I've been dealing with commercials, but I'm like, hey, that's one less automatic payment deducted from my checking account. So fuck it. I've been watching a lot of the old World challenges.
There
it's
you
just
go.
really funny. That's just been like my background TV as I do other things. I just finished watching on my it was on my Netflix watch list. The American Gladiators docuseries. That shit was hilarious. They were just pumping themselves. They were just having sex and doing steroids. And that's what it comes down to. They were just getting pumped all types of ways.
Oh god. Oh my god.
What else? But I'm a diehard Power fanatic, so I think I'm gonna do another run through of the series in chronological order.
Question. I just have a
up?
question for you, Zen. Anybody who does watch Power, I'm on like season 4. So I know. I'm very slow in watching it. My girlfriend keeps putting me to shame because she's like, you need to just hurry up and wrap that up.
Yeah, because you got 2 more seasons of the original show, then you got 3 seasons of Ghost, and then you got another season of Force.
That was going to be my question before we got to Kanan. So I got you. Cool.
Yeah, Kanan is.
I was wondering how it goes. Okay.
Yeah, Kanan is a prequel.
Yeah, you can wait on Kanan. You can wait to the.
You know what? I appreciate this. What I appreciate. So I lived in when I lived in New York. I lived in Jamaica, Queens. I love being able to see where they film shit. Like I'm like, oh shit, that's authentic. Like, but even with the soundtrack, it's cool. It's not as great as the rest of the shows, but it's still dope. But I'm gonna rewatch everything in chronological order. Probably late in the week or so, I'll start that.
I lived in Baltimore when season 3 of The Wire
was going on.
Oh my god! You know what's one
Loved
of the
every bit of it.
scariest moments of my life? I was on a show. I was on a tour with the unnamed rapper. I'm not me. He's popular. He has hit songs, but we had a show in Baltimore, and I remember I had fell asleep. Like it was one of those things where the night before we were all home in New York, so we got to spend a night in our own beds, and then the next night we went to the show in Baltimore. I remember falling asleep, right, going down to 95, and end up waking up, like when we were like 10, 15 minutes away from the venue, and waking up and getting scared because I was like, "Where the fuck are we?" And they're like, "We're 5, 10 minutes from the venue," and I said, "Yo, this shit looks like." I said, "They really filmed The Wire on location," because driving through those neighborhoods where everything is just boarded up, and you have those steps to the door, and it's like everything. It's like, yo, they really fucking filmed The Wire in Baltimore. Yeah, that was one of the scariest moments of my life. So,
Yep.
yeah,
I remember that. Yeah, you can't follow. You can't just drive anywhere. You pop up somewhere, and you
No.
be like, "Wait, where we at?"
No. All those fucking one-way streets. I'm good. No, I don't. Last
I
thing
w-
I needed to see. Yeah, go ahead.
So we're about to end this. I do want to say, because I got some news that popped up on my screen, and you're probably going to see it, Born,
Uh-oh.
because you're a hip hop fan also.
Yeah.
So hip hop just went by. I don't know what happened here. I don't want to end on a sad note, but I'm gonna be playing his music when I get off of here. From Timberland and Magoo. Magoo has passed away, unfortunately. God bless his family. But Magoo has passed away. I'm seeing it on y'all gonna probably see it on the timeline. A lot of the Timberland and Magoo stuff. I'm like, why is everybody playing? Yeah, why is everybody playing it? And I looked and I seen that he passed away. So bless his family, bless him, and
you know what?
50th anniversary of hip hop. Love it.
Yeah, I'm gonna sign off with this. 50th anniversary of hip hop. It's been such. My pops worked in the business. My was a tour manager. So professionally, I benefited from hip hop, and God bless to everyone that made positive contributions to this culture. If it's in graphic art, if it's in music, if you're a producer, an MC, a b-boy, break dancer, anyone that made a positive contribution to this culture as it continues to evolve and grow. And also, here's another thing, to the younger folks, a lot of folks like to do it with the NBA, where we disregard the older players. Don't disregard these older rappers, because I'm telling you right now, there's certain rappers right now that's from 20, 30 years ago that will murder your favorite rapper on stage. Like, I'm sorry. Anyone from Gen Z, I'm just letting you know right now, Busta Rhymes will outperform your favorite rapper any day of the week. Any of your little people,
Your
LIL,
little Uzi Verts, your little Dirks, like all of them.
So if your favorite rapper starts with Lil, or has colorful dreads, or has a tattoo on his face, or
a jewel on his forehead,
has a jewel on his forehead, has a Snapchat, Busta Rhymes will outperform you 10 days out of the week. It's a fact. Test me. I encourage you. But look, everyone, this has been a long one. We will be back at some point in September with the second part of Athletes and Activism. Thank you so much for joining us. New Dawn, my friend, we appreciate you. Tone, we'll see you sooner than later. Thank you, darling, as always, for joining us and holding us down and shooting down the patriarchy. And when it comes out in October, please listen to the Dawn Lounge. It's gonna be some compelling shit, entertaining shit. And
cheers, New Dawn.
Cheers to New Dawn. Cheers to New Dawn. We will be back next week with episode 7, Meeting of the Gold Mines. You can follow us on Twitter, Threads, IG, YouTube, at Purple Gold Mines. We are also in the middle of our Month of Mamba tribute. We're having watch parties every night, watching these classic Kobe games. His birthday's in a couple of weeks. We got some really great stuff planned. Please join us for our watch party on playback.tv/PGM Fan Cave. I am Born Rebel. We are the Purple and Gold Mines. We are signing out. Peace.